What is going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody doing, man? How you guys feeling out there? What's going on with everybody, man? Glad to see everybody hanging out in chat, man. It's amazing to see all of you beautiful individuals hanging out with us here this evening, man. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us, man. I missed you guys a lot. I know this shit feel weird, but I've been going for a while. You guys know I had to take an extended break. So I appreciate all the well wishes, everything you guys, text me, DM me, all the support. It was fucking amazing, man. This community has done so much for me. So shout out to everybody in the community hanging out. As you guys can see, we don't have the full panel here, but Mega will be here shortly. So shout out to him. I'm sure he'll fall through, but we got the OGs here, man. We got a whole lot of shit to talk about. So once again, hit the like button. Make sure you retweet that link out. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live, man. This is where you're going to be hanging out every single Saturday evening, man. So let's do it. Like I said, Mega come through. Perfect timing. So we appreciate you, brother. But let's get to the pleasantries, man. Let's go around the horn here. I miss all of you guys, man, for sure. But let's start with our guests, man. And we're going to start with you, Mega. You just slid in here, home plate. Shout out to you. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, what's going on, man? How's everything going, man? I apologize for being a little late.
And fashionably late. What you mean? It's all good, brother.
Yeah, you know how it is. Anyway, but no, I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite, man. It's been a long time.
Yes.
Been on the podcast, man. And so when I got the invite, I was like, oh no, I got to come through. But yeah, no, man, I'm doing all right, man. Just hanging out, had a great time watching the Olympics. I mean, been going crazy watching a lot of politics, that's kind of my thing. And then also been playing the hell out of college football and the first percent. I'm almost, I'm like maybe seven levels away from finishing the first battle pass.
Okay.
So I'm getting something that they just dropped, like, I think, what was it, yesterday? The new battle pass, the first season battle pass that's coming out August 29th. So yeah, look like I'm gonna be playing some more First Descent going forward, man. I really am all locked in.
The game is awesome, bro.
Man, it's a really fun game.
Yeah.
Really fun game. But man, yeah. Good to be here. Good to be first time working with Fun Speculation. You know what I'm saying? We've chatted, and I've also Pong and then Fuzzy, you know what I'm saying? It's good to be on, man. Good to be on.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. One of the OGs. Gotta bring you back, man. Gotta bring you back. So glad to have Mega here. One of the OGs. Me and Mega been at this thing since I first started. So shout out to you, OG. Appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Love to have you here every single time we can get you on, brother. But let's go ahead and throw this over to my other brother, the general of Fun Speculation, Mr. Mav himself, fresh off his deathbed, here at the Shop Podcast, brother. How you doing, brother?
Dude, I love it. Come on. I go from our shows and I gotta deal with Pong calling me Sniffles every week. Now, yeah. No, I'm good, man. It's good to be here. It's glad to see you back, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
It hasn't been a normal Saturday night for a while.
Yeah, it hasn't, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you back. It's great to be here with K Mega and my bros, Pong and Fuzz and stuff. And got a lot to talk about because Gamescom's around the corner. So you kind of sense this excitement starting to kind of come back around with all these games that are about to be shown. And I'm glad because the discourse over the last couple months has just been kind of non-existent or anything that a lot of us don't care about. It's just like a bunch of nonsensical arguments about nothing, really. And now we have a lot of fun things to talk about, and so it's the timing for you to be back is perfect, man. So it's good to be here on your return show.
Man, appreciate you, brother, man. The general, man, shout out to having you back, man, for sure. And you're right. The timing is absolutely right. So I was still on Twitter this whole time. I wasn't doing the Shop Podcast. And you're right. It was a bit of a lull, for the last few weeks. But like you said, we are back. Gamescom is right around the corner. Ironically, we'll segue into that. But let me get my fellas in here, my two right-hand, man. Sorry with you, Mr. Pong. So I missed you, brother. Glad to be back, man. Feels familiar, right?
Oh man, where am I and what is this show? What are we doing here? I don't remember I don't know how to do this on a Saturday night no more.
Yes.
It hasn't been that long, but no, great to be back, PTK. This feels right. This is my favorite way to end the podcasting week is by being right here with you guys. And of course, tonight having two amazing guests. First of all, of course, Sniffles, aka Fun Speculation, my brother from another Mav, again crawling out of his deathbed to be here with us. It's just amazing what he's been pulling out for the past 3 weeks to make podcasting happen while he's dying. Like, it's crazy. So great to have you, Mav. But Mega, it's been too long, brother, man. It's
way too long.
Been a long time. I did a couple shows with Mega back when I first started podcasting, but man,
y'all haven't linked back up since then?
No,
you guys
it's been a
wow.
It must be like 2.5, 3 years, Mega.
Yeah,
It must be.
Wow.
Yeah. So great to have you on here. Of course, much respect to GRG and everything you guys had going on over there. So great to hear your
right.
voice.
Had we only got 2 more episodes and then we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But you're one of the OGs, like PTK
facts.
said, man. So much respect to you, and obviously you were always cool, right? When I first started podcasting and stuff, man. So awesome to have you on here. Thank you for giving us your time tonight, man. So great to have you here, man. Absolutely, and PTK, we do have a lot to talk about, but obviously games and more games, and like Mega said, First Descendant. I'm still in love. I'm still rocking out.
I love that, man. I love the fact that it's sticking. It's sticking with a lot of people, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. That first season trailer that they just dropped to just looks so good. The new sniper Haley, she is looking.
I saw that.
I think a lot of people was liking that snow bouncing off of that back.
I
mean, I got the swimsuit for Viesta, so I know. Again,
you one of those freakazoids that's out there.
I gave him 2 First Descendant so much.
Exactly. I gave him 2 rounds. I gave him 2 rounds of funding, Mega. I've already funded him twice, man. So we good.
Listen, it is what it is. And listen, I look every time an Ultra Bunny pops up.
Yep.
I'll back up a little bit, like that mercy.
Yeah, that even the alt Volby now is looking good. So but I absolutely love, as far as looter shooters go, this team again has done it right from the beginning, and they continue to do things right, and so that's why I'm going to give them respect. I mean, outside of the beauty and outside of the the different costumes that you can have, again, the game itself is fun. Even the grind is fun. Yes, it can certainly be grindy. It's set up for a specific reason, but I can appreciate it. As a free-to-play game, though, I can't ask for anything more than they gave us, giving me the choice if I want to invest, and I invested twice. And I'm going to continue to play this game. I'm going to continue to go back to it like Mega. I think I'm at level 92 on the season pass, so I think I got 4 more to go on there.
Oh, okay.
Finish that out because I want to get to that second level of those special battle passes that you open up too, because VS has got a nice little long hairdo in there that I want real bad. So we're going to be getting that. So, I've been rocking out on that. And one other game I got, I'll keep it short because we got to get a lot to get into, and we got the guests here tonight, but, Nobody Wants to Die, man. This game is awesome. I was just actually playing it before I popped in here with you guys again. Again, shout out to BT Maverick for the generosity he bought for me a few weeks ago on Steam. And told me when my grazing brings me to it, it brings me to it. So I started it last weekend, made a post about it, talked about it this week on a couple shows. But this game is that cyberpunk noir. It's based on like 30s, 40 detectives, but it's got a cyberpunk futuristic setting to it as well. So it's the atmosphere, the narrative around the game, the acting, everything about this game is freaking so cool. Unreal Engine 5, it has moments of absolute beauty. You go into, again, it's narrative heavy. We're not talking about a shooter here, okay? We're not talking about Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
We are talking about a detective game, right? That's what this game is all about. So you're going back to these crime scenes, and you got to reconstruct them. And of course, you got a device that you can fast forward, rewind time as you find clues. Then you bring back the clues to your apartment. You got to put them together. You got to put the right ones together to kind of piece the story together. But there's stuff that happens in between. There's choices with consequences that can alter the story, open up more dialogue, take away dialogue, change the ending potentially. But everything about this game is put together so nicely.
Awesome.
It is a great Great game. It is on consoles. It is on PC. Again, if you like narrative games and you kind of are really about that detective work and that old style detective, man, they got you. And it's adult, okay? I mean, they got you drinking, they got you smoking cigarettes and cigars in this game. Yeah, right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning of the car.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love, man. So if you are into that type of game, put this on your wish list. Get this in. Get ready to get it at some point when you have maybe a little bit of a lull. It's not a gigantic game by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very, very well done, and I can't recommend it enough. So Nobody Wants to Die should be on everybody's list if that sounds cool to you guys. So just want to throw that one out there as well.
Awesome, brother. You know, you always playing something. You always selling something before the show, so I'm gonna go look. You already know.
Come pedal.
You already know. You already know I'm gonna go look. Somebody should be giving you a check. One of these publishers, a dev, somebody, Xbox, PlayStation, somebody. But anyway, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you every single week being here, man. And last but not least, my boy Fuzz, man. Glad to be back, Fuzz. It's about time, right? I know y'all was waiting on me, but man, it feels very, very good to be back this Saturday, brother.
Oh yeah. It's so awesome to be back with you guys, and awesome that we got fun speculation, and we got K Mega on here as well tonight. Yeah, it's been a while, but man, I'm looking forward to this one because we got Gamescom right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We got some port begging rumors coming up again. One of them being one of my favorite games, with Forza Horizon 5. Still playing that, collecting cars, collecting some of the ones I missed when they first popped up, like the Lucid Air Sapphire. They finally got that one back in the rotation, but already got the first 2 cars for this week, and then we got 3 more weeks of the season stuff. But man, First Ascendant I need to get back to, but kind of took a sidestep. Hopped into Diablo for a bit.
Same.
Loving this season.
Yeah.
Went Druid this time. That's the only one I hadn't tried prior. So definitely enjoying the process right now with my poison claws, I guess is about the best way to put it. But even taking a look back at the Division. One game I'm not taking a look back at is Destiny 2, because, I don't know if we'll even bring that part up. But yeah, they, I don't know. Much respect to those for, First Ascendant coming to the game, looking at what the others did and improving upon it, doing some of their own stuff, and, giving us some eye candy in the process. So, yeah, they definitely knocked it out of the park from get-go, and they continue to improve on it. Would love for Ubisoft to pick up some of those, I guess, open world aspects where if somebody starts a mission, you can just, randomly join in as well. They put that in the Division 3. That might be the game for life at that point. But looking forward to talking about a lot of these topics. But so glad to be here with everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out. Yeah, let's do this.
Let's get into it, man. So a great segue. And once again, Chad, I appreciate all you guys, everybody that comes and watches. I know I got to get things back going and get you guys back used to being here every single Saturday night. But the people that do show up today, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome, and retweet that link out. But we got a lot to talk about. So we've been rambling a whole lot before the show. So, man, let's get into it, man. We're going to talk a lot about Gamescom 2024. That's the first thing we getting into. In my opinion, it's probably the biggest thing going on. This is going down August 20th, which is Tuesday, the upcoming Tuesday. So we got a little bit of information, not a ton, but we did get some information from Jeff Keighley about some games that we're going to see. Not much about, some of the other things. We've had hints for the last maybe 6-7 months, possibly about maybe Xbox having some additional things there. So, keep your eyes peeled, essentially. Some tweets here and there. But just let me go over a couple of things that we know for sure are going to be there. Then we're going to go around the panel. So we got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We got Civilization Civ 7. We got Little Nightmares, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Dune Awakening, Monster Hunter Wilds, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and Marvel Rivals so far. So that's already a great lineup. And I don't know if it's going to be gameplay for every single one. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't dive that deep into the article, but we'll figure that out. But let me start with you, Mega. Just right off the rip, brother. We coming off. It's been a bit of a lull. We were talking about this pregame, and it ain't been a whole lot going on. And this is typically the time of the summer where that happens. But Gamescom is here. We got a few days until it pops up. And one, what do you think about just the lineup? And just what do you think about Gamescom 2024? What was your expectations? Anything you looking forward to out of that list?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, there's of course COD. I play COD every year. Except for just a few CODs that I have not played. but I play COD every year, so I'll be looking forward to that. I mean, Xbox is going to save the gaming industry yet again with gaming content. So, you know what I'm saying? Nintendo is going to be very light, if not there, and then PlayStation is not going to be there. So it's going to be just Xbox pretty much and third party. So yeah, no, I mean, like I'm excited for anything and everything. Like Indiana Jones has been one of those games that I'm like, I can't wait to play it, but it's not like it's first on. It's not like one of my biggest titles that I'm excited for. Like one of my biggest titles that I'm excited for going into the end of the year is going to be Shadows of the Shadows, the Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm all stoked on that. I can't wait. I'm going to get the collector's edition on that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then another, you know how I'm into fire. I'm into Sparking Zero.
Yeah.
The DBZ Sparking Zero. So yeah, I think that they'll probably show a little bit more of that at Tokyo Game Show going forward before it launches in October. But yeah, no, COD is probably the biggest one for me.
Okay.
And that's kind of weird because of the fact that it's so everything this generation has been so upside down and been so backwards. And I've always had my love for COD, right? Like it's my peanut butter gaming. But and Battlefield has always been my number one over COD. But because Battlefield has had such a sad situation.
I hear Pong over there hurting too.
Bro, man,
the same way, you know that Battlefield 1. It's always been that way.
Yeah, Battlefield 1 was fantastic. A lot of people had problems with Battlefield 5. I don't understand why. The trailer had nothing to do with the game. The game was good. And I'm a Hardline fan. I love Hardline. I thought Hardline's multiplayer, it's ugly. But it was
a cool idea.
The idea was cool, yeah.
And it had some of the best maps that you could ever play. Unfortunately, that a lot of those maps you can't get to anymore because a lot of those studios closed down. But and then of course, one of the best multiplayers of all time is Battlefield 4. I mean, in my opinion. So so Battlefield has been up there, of course, with the bad companies and all that. But COD has always been steady. And now it's gotten to the point to where now I'm looking more forward to COD than I am for whatever that they're going to be doing with Battlefield after the bad taste that I had with Battlefield 2042. So that's probably going to be my highlight. I know that there's going to be some other titles out there like Indiana Jones. I'm looking forward to it, but it's not top on my radar now. Finding out that Avowed is going to be delayed till 2025. Okay, we pushed that back. I'll be happy to see that. Another game that I was looking forward to, and I've even made a comment on it on Twitter X where I said which was replaced. I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear nothing else about this game until this game is released.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I mean, it looks phenomenal for everything that they've said that they were going to do with this game, but then it's delayed. I'll take a 2-3 delays, but after that, then I kind of lose interest. And there's so many other games that's out there that's going to be dropping. So yeah, I mean, whatever Metaphor, I'm sure that they'll be talking more about Metaphor at Gamescom. So I'm really hyped about that. So yeah, Xbox is going to again save the day with a lot of content, and there's
they have their own. Don't they have their own like follow-up show as well too, or they have their own section out of Gamescom?
I believe so.
3 days.
3 days. Yeah. They're going big.
Yeah. No, and they said that this was going to be the biggest announcement of games that they've ever announced in Gamescom's history. So again, I mean, we'll get into it, but here comes rumors and some
like clockwork, mega.
Into some negative press to try to deviate from Xbox again doing the Lord's work in gaming and providing content, something that people have been asking and begging for from Xbox for the last couple of years, and now they're providing it, and now all of a sudden here we go with this. But I'll be looking for it. I'm one of those rarity cats, just kind of like Pong. Like I just look, and then also like Steel Rain, because Steel Rain gets into those old classic gems as well. Like just we find those diamonds in the rough. and something. I watch every show that they have possible, and
Yeah.
even the most boring ones, and I always find something that I'm going to be excited about. So
Yes,
everything
sir.
that Xbox is going to be bringing, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to, and then seeing if I'm going to have the money to go ahead and indulge in it later on.
Got it.
I'll be praying that it jumps on Game Pass.
Game Pass.
But I'm looking forward to it.
You know what? I love the fact that you said Black Ops is your biggest one, and we'll get into that more, you know, a little bit more direct. But the cool thing about Black Ops is that this is probably, and I'm curious if the panel agrees with me here. This is probably the most anticipated, most universally praised Call of Duty in like 5 years, man. Like, it seems generally, for the most part, most people seem to like this, Omega. Remember, the last few had the most disliked trailers ever. Like, this one seemed to be doing well. This seemed to, hit the mark.
I thought 3 kicked off. I mean, not 3, but the first Modern Warfare, the remake,
that one was pretty good as well too.
That got a lot of acclaim, but again, it still got its hate. But you're right. But this one right here, I mean, everybody's been waiting for another Black Ops. So
facts. And they got 4 years versus 2. I think this is a great example of why they need to go to that format as well too. We've been asking that since goddamn probably Black Ops 2, that they just slow down and stretch that dev cycle out a little bit more. But this proves, I think, without a shadow of a doubt, that give them more time, the game is probably going to be better.
No. It's going to be massively better, and also it's Black Ops.
Yeah, Treyarch cooks, man.
Treyarch is not going to allow this game to go and be in the dumpster fire, and we do have to appreciate where the new strategy, where Xbox is saying, look, we should take the same strategy of what Battlefield does, is bring COD in every couple of years. Or have the development cycle go every 2 to 3 years. That gives the time for the developers to cook, to bring in everything else that they need to. So it is a smart decision. And of course, like you said, it's Black Ops. Black Ops is probably the most
favorite.
It's a lot of people's favorite. So they can't mess up on that. And then for what we've seen in the trailers, and then the new abilities that you could do within the game, it looks solid. I can't wait to play the beta, man. I can't wait to get in.
Awesome, man. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate it, man. So let's go ahead and throw this over to Mav. Mr. Mav, man. We got Gamescom right around the corner on the 20th, brother. You heard that list that I went over. Obviously, we didn't really get into possibility of things that we might see, and I'm sure you'll go that direction. You being a co-mayor, of Speculation Town, I'm sure you'll get to that. But just off that list, what are some of the things you're interested in? And then even you can throw in maybe some of the things you think Xbox might have, maybe some maybe surprise things as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of with K-Mega on a Call of Duty thing for the games that we know is at least at an opening night live and stuff. Yeah. Like I want to see some of the campaign. I want to see what they could possibly show on that, or some of the multiplayer. I want to see what a 4-year dev cycle Call of Duty fully kind of blown out and marketed and all this kind of stuff. The first big Call of Duty under Xbox. All these kind of things. I want to see kind of how they present that and stuff, I'm really excited for it. Indiana Jones also.
Yeah.
I
think that's going to be better than a lot of people expect. I just have this weird feeling about it that it's from a quality standpoint. Like it feels so much like the movie. I feel like they nailed it. And then even with it being first person, I don't really think that's going to be that big of a problem. I had a little not issue with that, but I was a little hesitant when they first revealed it. But I actually think it might work out.
Yeah, when I first heard it was first person, I was like, oh, okay. Like we'll see. But then when they showed it, and the more I thought about it with Machine Games and the history and everything they've done in the past, and even before, like the team that originally founded Machine Games came from Starbreeze, and they had done games like Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, and all
first person,
that kind of stuff, right? So they've always been a first person studio, even before they founded Machine Games. All the talent and stuff have been first person guys and stuff. So they came over and they took the IP of Wolfenstein and just completely were able to reboot it and make it amazing. So they've always been these teams that can kind of take an existing IP and make it fresh and great in a gaming space. So when they had Indiana Jones, it's like, okay, that's in good hands, but I expected still to see this kind of thing we're used to in the adventure genre, right? Like we're used to third person games and stuff. I was like, I was thinking, how's Machine Games going to do third person? Because obviously Indiana Jones is going to be a third person game. It'll be interesting.
We brought that up here on the show. Absolutely. I think that Pong or Fuzz, it was probably Pong more than likely. We brought that up. Like, what is that going to look like? I mean, we know they're extremely talented, but just same situation with like, Fable. They've never done that. So what does that look like? Right.
Right. And then they said, well, the rumors started coming out it's going to be first person for sure. And then I was like, oh, okay. But then when I saw it, it's like, okay, yeah, this is Machine Games. This is taking, like, they're doing what they do best, but they're bringing to life the spirit and the character of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they nailed that.
So, like, perfectly, right? And that's the most amazing thing I loved the showing we got at the summer showcase, where that whole set piece and the cinematics. Because it was like I was watching the best Indiana Jones movie clip I've seen since the OG movies, right? And I was like, okay, I'm all in on this. I want to experience the story. I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. I was also not sold when I heard that it was going to be Troy Baker, and then
nailed it.
And then they showed the club, like, okay, well, I guess that guy can't really do anything, because that was insane. His performance. Sounding like Harrison Ford and stuff.
Young Indy too, not just Harrison Ford. Young Indy, yeah.
So I'm really excited to see more of that, and more of the gameplay, more of this potential story elements and stuff. And I think it's going to be amazing. But I think there's going to be a couple surprises, man.
Think so? Okay.
I do. There's some rumblings out there that there could be like some other stuff that we don't know about that they could show that. On each day of the streams that the Xbox has announced, there's the and more. I'm always most intrigued by what the and more is. As opposed
and that
to
random tweet, wasn't there a tweet from an Xbox exec about keep your eyes peeled? Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines about you should really want to tune in.
Yeah, I can't remember what.
I can't remember who.
Greenberg.
It was Greenberg. Yeah,
it was Greenberg. Yep.
There's so much to be excited for, and knowing how much Xbox always has cooking now, you never know what to expect at any time that they're going to show up to something, right? They've revealed games numerous times throughout the year. They surprise us. Right? They have the summer showcase, which they blew up. They had Dev Direct, which they actually had a Square Enix game show up at their Dev Direct. Right. And then so you never know what to expect now. Now we know that they're showing up big time for Gamescom with more games than they've ever had before at Gamescom.
So are we used to this now? Are we all like used to just Xbox doing this every single show? Like, would you say that's an expectation?
It's the new reality, man.
Well, I would say for Gamescom, no.
That's true. This is the first Gamescom since they've kind of taken, you know what I mean? Like since they've started the initiative.
Well, I think was it 2014, 2015 when they dropped the oh my goodness, Tomb Raider being exclusive.
Yeah.
Because that was a big push from Xbox at Gamescom. But other than that, I don't think it's ever been this big. I think this might be bigger than that moment, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what? I give Tina Amini a lot of credit. That's your girl, Pong. I give her a lot of credit because I mean, since they hired her, this is how Xbox has been. I give her 100% credit, but she gets a lot of that credit, Mega as well as Mav, because since they officially hired her, this is how things have gone as far as their marketing, as far as all their showcases. Everything's been bigger. Everything's been bigger, more precise, more straightforward, less fluff. You know what I mean? The pacing, everything's just been great.
They're doing reveals throughout the year instead of just like at one big point in the year, right? And like they're doing game announcements, they're doing third-party deal announcements, they're doing all these other kind of things throughout the year. It's just a question of like, okay, what are they going to announce this time? Obviously, the biggest stuff is usually going to be in summer. With the
or VGA
showcase or that, right? But I think there's room now because of everything that they have for some kind of medium-sized surprise, and who knows what that could be. But I think there's reason to expect that there could be something that we don't know about, even if it's a smaller game or double A game or some kind of announcement of some kind of partnership or some kind of Game Pass deal or something like that here coming up next week.
Maybe possibly hardware. They typically do that at Gamescom as well too. I mean, I'm not talking about the handheld. Just I don't know, Elite 3 controller. I don't know.
Some people are thinking the Elite 3 controller could be shown. They already had said there's more hardware announcements to be had this year. So there's something else that they're going to show us. I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm super pumped, man, because there's so much already, even in that, like the list that they put out with the picture that has like all 3 days of the streams, and they have like 10 games on each day. If you like actually look at all the games in those lists, it's like, holy crap, this is like a full year's slate of awesome releases.
That's the roadmap we were talking about, though, right?
3 days to us, so that's what I mean by like, this is the kind of the new reality. Is it's just the roadmap is strong, man. Like, it's super strong. It's strong between first party studios. It's strong with third party deals. It's strong with marketing deals. It's strong with Game Pass day and date. It's strong with expansions. It's strong with
small indie IPs.
The smaller stuff like that. Like there's just so many different things for everybody, and that's what Gamescom to me is going to be about. It's going to showcase more so like just, hey, look at everything, because that's what they're promoting right now for those 3 days of streams.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm bummed too, man. It feels so good, and I love the fact that Xbox got out as soon as Gamescom was announced. They got out ahead and said, "Look, we're showing up in a big way," and I don't know if the old Xbox would do that, right? So that's part of the culture change that Phil, Tina, obviously all Aaron, all those people have, they've made a huge change. So I'm super excited too. I do expect now. I heard what you were saying, Mega. You know what I mean, and you're right. This is the first Gamescom. Maybe I'm being a bit too ahead of myself here, putting the horse, the carriage in front of the horse. But I would like to see something. I would like a surprise though, Mega. I'm not gonna lie. Like it don't have to be anything major or anything like that, but I would like a little nugget. You know what I mean? It's been a little lull. I like something to get excited.
You know what? I do agree. But I never looked at Gamescom as being that type of entity. Yeah. Where Xbox is what the play, we kind of know where it lies, where the big announcements start at. Like for Tokyo Gamescom for something Asian, or to that something from the Eastern region, or Keely's show. Keely, and then like since E3 is gone, oh my God, it makes me sick. But and then like in June, those are the pretty much the 2 to 2.5, because Tokyo Game Show is still not going to resonate with everybody, right? Like if Xbox could want to reel in the reins and take over Gamescom, then I would say throw in something. It doesn't have to be major, but if you throw in like a middle tier type of game that will get some attention and say, look, we're bringing out this type of title for you. Like, let's just say a Halo Wars. Let's just say if they're going to bring a Halo Wars or something like that. I think
Mav would lose his shit. All his hair would fall out.
You're talking about small announcement or medium announcement?
No, I'm going to say
that's like on my bucket list. Like, I will die.
I feel you on that, because I loved Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 was so underrated, right? But compared to, it was phenomenal. And also it just gave you the true, something that even that Halo Infinite didn't really give you about how Atriox was. Like, how badass and how lethal Atriox and the Banish is. But regardless, that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to do that. But let's just say that they wanted to do a new Halo Wars. I think that would be the perfect platform for them to do that at a Gamescom. Then for something that's overseas, that's Asian, Tokyo Game Show, which wouldn't draw all types of interest, but would draw interest to people who love games from the East. And then you, of course, have the VGAs. This is just the reality of it. It's kind of like the new E3. That's where you put the biggest and the best games out, and then in June. Those cycles right there, you can do something with all of those. But you just don't want to have like every other month or something like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
because it dilutes
yeah.
What Xbox is doing, and of course the way that the media operates these days, they'll find some kind of scrutiny within that. So I think that those kind of entities right there. So I would be down for it, but I just don't see it unless they would go for a more kind of niche, the niche titles that would get some people to say, oh, you know what, that's not bad. I might want to check that out or something like that. Yeah. Gamescom could definitely be that place.
Okay. All right. Let me throw this over to my brothers, man. We're gonna start with you, Pong, on this one, brother. Once again, we've heard some arguments. We've heard some takes regarding opening night live, obviously coming up here on Tuesday the 20th, brother. You've seen the list. Obviously, you being the other co-mayor, I'm not sure if your phone been blowing up or you gotten any envelopes in your mail recently. No, none. Okay, we dry. Okay, so you know what? How is Speculation Town doing the last few weeks?
It's fun. It's fun. We still spend all the time in Speculation Town, right?
Yes.
We're not insiders, right? But we just have a good time out here talking about everybody else and what they're talking about. So
facts.
No, Speculation Town is always open, man. So opening night live is gonna be great. Again, to see the list of games. All of them I have some interest in, right? So at least all the ones that we know about that Keeley gave us as far as that go. Obviously, great to see more Black Ops 6. Great to see Monster Hunter Wilds.
I was going to say that one.
That one is looking like a big
monster
giant game next year. Yeah, pun intended, right?
Yeah. Facts. That's going to do big streaming numbers, man. It's going to be big on Twitch.
Huge. And they're doing a great job marketing it right now, showing off the different weapon classes. So that's going to be fun to see. Marvel Rivals got a lot of positivity coming out of that closed beta. And we should be getting a open beta at some point so that the console players and the rest of us get a chance to try it as well. I would not doubt that's announced here. Can't wait to see what Marvel Rivals has got. And obviously Dune Awakening behind the scenes. The
MMO, right?
Yeah, MMO. And again, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but there was some people who have hinted that have been able to play it behind closed doors that it is better than expected, that this game is going to offer something. So yeah, and again, I want to see it. Again, I don't have the time to lock into MMOs like that. Like it's going to, but still, I want to see what they're bringing to the table because obviously Dune is an interesting world, and they could do a lot in that space with an MMO. So I want to see it. So I'm a little bit curious about that one. Indiana Jones now that Xbox had to be stupid and move Avowed till next year, which was my most anticipated first-party title. Indiana Jones is up there. Obviously, I'm a huge OG indie fan. Everything that Mav talked about, we talked about when we first when we saw that latest showing at the showcase, how it just sounded and looked and captured the original Indiana Jones movies in that entire sequence. And if that's what we're going to get from the entire game when it comes to acting, again, don't like Troy Baker, but I gotta give him credit. Yeah,
he nailed that. Yeah.
It's close enough. It's close enough to squint real hard and go, yeah, that could be Harrison. That could be old Harrison, young Harrison. But so if that's what we're going to see throughout the whole entire game, that made me even more excited because I am all down for that, obviously, and I love the perspective. And I think here my guess is we're going to see more gameplay this time around, since we've seen such a big cinematic kind of set piece there. So I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more gameplay, uncut gameplay. I'd like to see kind of even a 2-minute with very little cut, showing me something. Of a sequence where you're battling, fighting, with using different weapons, fists, etc. But all of that already looked good. I'm already sold on this game, so I don't really need to be sold. It's just if you're going to show me something new, which obviously they're probably going to do here, then that's what I'm looking forward to. And then Civ 7. Civ 6 didn't hit, which is rare for that team. A lot of the original Civ team is actually doing Aura, History Untold, which is coming out later this year to PC, and then later to console for Xbox. But Civ 6 didn't hit the way normal Civ games do. They got a lot to prove. And I think the team, it sounds like they are coming back with Civ 7, and they're going to really try to improve and take to heart what people had wrong with Civ 6. There was a lot of performance issues, especially on console, that they never fixed. They never patched out. So I'm always down for a new Civ game, right? So I picked up 6 on sale. I actually double dipped a couple times on Civ 6. So I'm going to be going back to Civ 6 and playing some of it because I never really gave it a fair shot before 7 shows up. But I want to see what 7's got. So yeah, opening night sounded real good. I wouldn't doubt that Keeley has a surprise or two tucked away in there as well that he's not talking about yet, because he did say there will be new game announcements. He did confirm that during Gamescom. So I would not be surprised if there's surprise. As far as Xbox goes, listen, they're coming 50, 60 games plus here. Just from them, like that's them and,
Crazy,
and their partners.
Yeah.
Like this is a second E3, right? That's when I started looking at this and I saw what Xbox was bringing, and it's not just Xbox. There's like 1,400 different companies that attend Gamescom too, and of course that's cross tech and everything else. But this is big. And because Xbox, we know their marketing over in Europe, it's non-existent, right? We know that that's been a massive problem. All I was gonna do is talk to people who live over there, Boxenberger, etc. People who live over there that just flat out say, people don't know Xbox even exists here. They're kind of using this, it feels like, being over there to announce their arrival and to showcase exactly what they're doing, because to bring 50, 60 games with your partners, third parties showing up on your stage, like a lot of third parties, big titles, right? You got main competitor titles showing up. Path of Exile is a main competitor to your first party Diablo coming out next year. Path of Exile 2, we're going to get the beta later this year. That's on one of their stages on Friday. Like the fact that they're doing that seems to me like they're just pushing in Europe, like this is their marketing campaign. And like you said, PTK, Tina Meany, one of their best hires ever. She's been out posting again. She's got her fingers all over this. This is her, she's stamping, she's making her mark yet again with this. I expect nothing but greatness because she showed me nothing but greatness, her and her team, with all the things that
ever since they hired her, every show's been a hit, a home run.
Better. And she even gets better. So I'm expecting this is going to be massive. I do think there are going to be surprises here. How big? I guess it depends on who you're going to be. I think hardware can show up here for sure. I think that the other big one, obviously, is Final Fantasy 16. The announcement for Xbox could be here. And it could be on one of the stages, either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And I think that would be another massive moment. And I would not doubt that it drops into Game Pass. And so I think that might be a big surprise here. First party stuff, I don't know. You never know. ZeniMax Online has been working on for a game for 6 years that a ton of people are super hyped about behind the scenes. It has to be showing at some point. It has to be showing at some point. 6 years plus. Like, could it surprise here? Sure. Could Contraband out of the blue show up with a new showing of some gameplay here? Absolutely. This is the thing with Xbox now, like you were talking about, PTK. Is this expected? Like you were asking about games. No. This is the first time we've seen them go this big, right?
Yeah.
So, like K-Mega, I would say no. This isn't to be expected. But we talked about this for years in the run-up to the situation, PTK. If all these acquisitions were going to go through, how were they going to give the spotlight to all these damn games? E3 time was not going to be good enough. We said they got to come up with more showcases.
Either add a show or...
They got to come up with a direct. Look. Tina Meany and her team comes up with a direct. That's fantastic. And then we also said, then you use the other shows throughout the year, TGS's, Game Awards, Gamescom, PAX. You use those and you come with games that you need to show off that maybe haven't gotten the spotlight yet, that are coming up soon, right? Or you re-spotlight some of those games that you already showed off. That's exactly what they're doing here. But they're not just bringing the family, right? They're bringing their friends with all these third parties showing up underneath their umbrella, which again is something we talked about, the partnerships that they are creating within this industry. It's a bigger web than people understand right now, what Xbox is actually doing out here. Like K-Mega said, coming up saving shows, however you want to describe it.
Hey, that's
When
that's how you describe it, because that's exactly what the hell they've been doing.
You might have a party, but when Xbox shows up, they bring their own party with, and you got two parties. That's how it is now, because that's how big Xbox is, right? So this is going to be an incredible show. Like I said, I'm looking at this as a second E3. Next week is going to be fun to talk about, because all these games, we've seen most of these games somewhere, right? They're not going to bring the old footage. They got demos on the floor. They're not going to be bringing old footage to this. We're going to be seeing new stuff on top of it, which is what I get excited about. So can't wait.
Facts, man. Shout out to chat. And let me draw on TJ. Let me go back, because there was a super chat here. Shout out to you, TJ. Let me go back, because I don't want to miss the people in the chat. But you're 100% correct, Paul. So nice $5 super chat from Drawn TJ. He said, "Hi guys, everyone, please hit the like button. Xbox is the best place to play. I've been catching your show on demand. Keep up the amazing work." Shout out to you, TJ. Thank you for coming through, blessing the Shop podcast, man. You just watching is enough, but you blessing us with a nice super chat is awesome too. But yeah, absolutely, Pong. I'm 100%. I'm all in like you. I'm excited, and like I said, this has been a weird year for me personally, because it's taken me a little longer for it to hit me. Like usually I'm already like ramped up, you know what I mean? I'm already geeked up, ready for the showcase, but these showcases are taking a little longer this year for me to kind of get to that point. But really taking a step back, and I did the same thing as you, Pong, really looked at what they actually were bringing to the table, and this is almost unprecedented for Xbox. They don't do this much at Gamescom traditionally, right? So that definitely tells you something. They're bringing the big guns to Gamescom this year. But we're gonna throw this over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion on Gamescom. You heard we've already gone around the panel here. You heard everybody else's take on that. But just any surprises for you? Anything that on that list that you looking forward to?
Well, before I even get to the list, like based on like previous Gamescoms, they typically show some sort of controller. So I'm fingers crossed. I know it's been mentioned earlier, but I really hope that they do the Elite 3. Kind of in need of one at this point, because rubber grips are coming off on the second Elite 2 I have. So it's like yeah. So it's time for them.
That was a sinister laugh, Megan.
Well, yeah, because on my on this one right here, that I got attached to my Xbox, the left bumper is garbage. And I'm over here fighting for my life playing first. No, I feel you on that.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. Hopefully they bring an Elite 3 controller, because I'm really looking forward to that. Hoping that I'm not as concerned about the haptic stuff. They had that in the triggers before, which works great for Forza and Forza Horizon and stuff like that. But bring the controller, show it. It's been a while. We've gone more than the normal time frame between Elite controllers at this point, so it's time for that to show up. Hoping there's some other hardware as well. I know we haven't really gotten into it, but the back and forth between Steam and Xbox with their operating software. Steam did the update for the handhelds, and Microsoft did their update for the handhelds as well. So it's like good thing that we got Steam kind of poking at them, or at least stepping in their backyard kind of deal, and Microsoft or Xbox as a whole kind of trying to make sure that they keep grips on things like these PC handhelds, like the ROG Ally and Legion Go and stuff like that. But we'll see how that turns out. But wouldn't mind seeing the handheld. Kind of expecting it could be an in between full on next gen, because a handheld just has to basically scale up or scale down, so it doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles of next gen. But if they put an AI chip in there to help with scaling with that, I guess they call it SSR or something like that they're working on now on the software level as well. Hopefully that will be something that they can at least tease us with, kind of like they did with the Scorpio Xbox One X, when they did that almost like a year and a half before it was released. So having the handheld would be a nice thing to have, but not a have to have, but would be cool. But, as far as the games that they're bringing, I'll just start off with the continued support for some of the games I love. Like with Diablo, we're getting that expansion. Expansion. I know it drops in October, but to see it now and get an idea of how much bigger the map might be in comparison, that I'm really looking forward to. Enjoying my time with these updated seasons, with the feedback that they've taken from the community. It seems like now even though it's still a grind, it's not as frustrating as a grind as it used to be. And there's a lot more fun and variety as far as the builds and things like that. So, loving what they're doing with Diablo right now, and just to see that expansion would be pretty cool. The big one on the list for as far as for continued support is Starfield for me. Can't wait for
DLC.
Like I'm rocking right now with 4 playthroughs simultaneously. 2 of them are broken at the moment. One where enemies won't come off the ship and I can't go to Unity or whatever. And then the other one, I think the main base, the landing base, the floor is missing or something weird. But the other 2 are still going strong, and looking forward to land vehicles, which hopefully come not too far from the Shattered Space DLC and all that. But looking to see what the House of Varun focus is going to be like. Maybe we get to join that faction, or maybe they add an additional faction into that as well, and expand on some of the weapons that faction has, and some of the armor and space suits and things. So kind of looking forward to all that. I'm hearing Forza or Forza Horizon is going to be there. Now, I know that's where some people are like, "Oh, that means it's coming to PlayStation." We'll see. To be honest, I'm not worried anymore about any of the ports going over to PlayStation.
Don't even bother with that.
I kind of look at it as kind of like the evil genius plan that Microsoft has at this
Trojan horse.
Well, not just
not a Trojan horse, but yeah.
But like they've had, like, PlayStation supposedly was going to have 12 games as a service, and now it's down to like 4 or 5 after all the cancellations, and Bungie kind of getting rid of their competition while also sinking their ship. But if Microsoft keeps putting games as a service over there, then what chance do PlayStation games as a service have to get an audience or to bring in revenue? You got things like Sea of Thieves that's going to be over there. You already had Call of Duty over there. You already have Diablo. You already have Overwatch. You have a lot of these titles that PlayStation is trying to either mimic or compete with to some extent. And now if you put something like Forza Horizon 5 over there, where you have card packs for sale, you have the expansions and stuff like the DLC that you could sell, that's going to be taking money away from things like Concord, even though it's not the same genre, but the potential for the fact that the only real arcade racers on PlayStation have been Need for Speed and Motorfest. Like Drive Club kind of died off before the end of the PS4 generation, so they haven't had a true arcade racer over there. Sure, they have GT7, but there's a big difference between sim racing and arcade racing, and there's quite a few PlayStation cats that are all about arcade racers. It's just that they've been starving for those. So put that over there. That I think the 40+ million that we already have from just Xbox and PC will probably get another 4 or 5 mil to the family of player base. But if it goes over there, great. If not, oh well. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think this would be the place to show Forza Horizon 6. So I'm wondering if maybe because Forza Horizon 4 is getting delisted, that they do like a high res or up res for the map and just add it where you can, access that map from, Forza Horizon 5. It's kind of one of those things I've kind of wanted them to do in the past, where you take all of your previous titles and still make the maps accessible. Just like you drive to the airport, and then, oh yeah, you're in, the Forza Horizon 2 landscape for like, I guess that was like France and Spain kind of area.
Right, yeah.
Or you go to 4 where you're in the UK. So it's like, that would be kind of cool to have that, especially being in, Gamescom region. You at least have 2 and 4 to kind of, utilize those maps. You already have car licenses that are current for 5. So you don't have to worry about any old licenses. Just up-res your map work and then make it accessible to the to the masses. Fingers crossed we see something like that, but they have a lot more ongoing support, like things for Sea of Thieves. Me personally, I don't care, but the fact that they're still supporting that game is awesome. Same thing with Elder Scrolls. They got more DLC for that. They're doing their or showing more of the expansion for World of Warcraft, which now being their IP should definitely help with the PC crowd over there as well. But when it comes to the new games, the fact that we're going to have Stalker there, the fact that they're going to have Indiana Jones there. The fact that they're going to have a Avowed there, and yes, I understand Avowed got the little pushback or delay for whatever reason it may be at this point. I'm still looking forward to any additional things we see from it, because every time they show Avowed, it looks that much better, or there's that much more of a detail.
The gameplay,
the combat or the spells or just the world in general. Each time it looks better, and they kind of snuck in that third person perspective last time. They might sneak in as far as like hinting on what we'll get to play in February and stuff. And same thing with Indiana Jones. I think for me, the only thing I really, it's not that I need to see, but I just want to see a little bit more of is the hand-to-hand. They got sounds down pat. Looking at it without having the controller in hand, it looks like it's going to be a fun time as far as being able to punch people in the face or just crack them with the whip or knock the pistol out of their hands with the whip kind of thing. So just some more of that, maybe some of the third-person traversal. But overall, looking forward to playing that hopefully before the end of this year, whether it's December as rumored before, or maybe it's bumped up because slotted in Avowed's old spot, whatever the case may be. Definitely looking forward to it. But like with Stalker, right now at this point, there's only but so many extraction shooters out there, and that one being like a single player version of an extraction shooter is pretty cool. Looking forward to even more of the detail of the landscape. Like they had that 30-minute trailer or 25 trailer that they released.
Definitely getting into that.
I like the variety of weapons. So just based on the variety of weapons and the different areas you're going to be able to navigate and stuff like that, and the fact that you'll get more rewards doing exploration and stuff, I'm all for it. So definitely looking forward to that one. But there's just so much, and this is not what I would say is something to be expected on a normal basis, but I like what you guys are saying as far as maybe this is their, with all the rumors of like cut budgets on like for the European, marketing and all that. Maybe they cut it to do this, and then they'll see how the response is, and then figure out where they need to go from there. Because this definitely looks like it's a solid shot across the bow for PlayStation as far as being as dominant as they are in that region. And I think, like you guys said, this is a way to let everybody know in that area that Xbox is here to stay, and we got the games this time. You can't fall on those old tropes where people are like, "Oh, Xbox has no games." I think we got too many games. Well, I won't say we have too many, but it's starting to seem that way, because by the time you get through 1 month or 1 week of Game Pass, it's like they bombard you with a whole new slew of games, both new and third party as well as first party stuff mixed in. So
they got too many now. Fuzz are delaying their own games to make room for the other one.
It's like musical chairs. It's like, oh man, all right, let's just move this one back a month. Well, if we do that, then we got to push this other one here. It's like, oh man. So shout out to Matt Booty for the magic tricks that he's going to have to be doing for these next few years, and I can't wait to see what their starting lineup is going to look like for the next gen, because the way it's looking now, they're going to have like probably 6 to 10 games that will be quote unquote cross gen, that will be launch titles for next gen and still be playable on these series consoles. So I still won't say they have too many, but they definitely got a wide variety and plethora, which, by the way, I'm also looking forward to the Flight Sim, which is another one that I've played the regular one a lot of times, and I'm finally going to be able to do some of the things I tried to do in the regular Flight Sim, where it's like you can take the plane off or have it take off, put it on autopilot, and then go take a seat in the back of the cab of the plane, or just land it, walk around, hearing that you can hit some of the hiking trails near some of the mountaintops and things like that. So it's basically, if everything goes according to plan, it might be like GTA without guns for airplane enthusiasts. So looking forward to that. But man, this is going to be an awesome 3-day stream with the opening night. Get to see more Call of Duty. At this point, as a multi-console owner, I kind of really wonder what the F is PlayStation doing. Like, I get it. They kind of have to, adjust their roadmap to some extent, but it's
what
like
roadmap? What are you talking about?
Well, whatever roadmap, Ryan put together with all those games as a service, which are now canceled. It's like, They gotta be like scrambling or something. Like seriously, like
I want to ask this. I ask you guys this question.
Yeah,
because I've been stressing this on my streams. Is that as a PlayStation owner, I've owned PlayStation from the very beginning. To me, this is the worst generation that PlayStation has ever produced for me, content wise.
Yeah.
Not, I know that there was some people trying to bring up PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3, if you want to say the console, okay, but the content, the beginning of the PlayStation's content, PlayStation 3's content was solid. Then it kind of fell through because games like Mass Effect and Skyrim, when they were broken as hell. But then PlayStation actually kicked off the push for PlayStation 4 with their heavy content. I mean, with solid content.
Yeah.
We have not got that with the PlayStation 5, in my opinion. They started off good, and then we're kind of been in this position of where it's been trickle, and then we're, I know that there's still maybe a year or two left of the generation, but for right now, when we're looking at this point, I still feel that the PlayStation 3 still has a better game lineup than the PlayStation 5. I think this is a very disappointing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree 1,000%. And this for me, so I've asked this question too, Mega, right? So I think the D mark, right, we can point to, I think it was game. I don't think they were ready for Game Pass. I don't think they believed in game. I don't think they thought Game Pass would be what it was. Because Game Pass changed the way we play games, we purchase games. You know what I mean? Like, it really threw a monkey wrench in their whole plan. Why do you think out of nowhere, all of a sudden we need 15 live service games?
Right.
That's not traditional Sony. That's not how they usually operate. They're not that reactionary. They usually are kind of leading the pack generally. They're reacting to everything Xbox does.
Right. And it's just like what Fuzzy said. They're port begging. When did you ever hear PlayStation fans ever port beg? Like, they didn't never need to port beg because they had a solid lineup of content for their fan base. Now they're over here begging and parading the opportunity that they might be getting Xbox games over there on their platform, and that to me says a lot about what's going on with PlayStation.
Well, think about it this way too. Ask any real PlayStation fan, are you happy with the roadmap? And if they have actual consciousness and any kind of integrity, they'll tell you that they shouldn't be. Because we don't even know what they're doing at all. We keep every 2 months we hear about a showcase. But PlayStation's not saying anything about a showcase. They're not giving no hints, nothing about when this is supposed to happen. There was a period where they didn't have a showcase for like 2 years straight. Yeah. They didn't do a show at all, not even a state of play. So it was like, this is very un-Sony like. And I don't know, Mav, Pong, I don't know if you guys want to piggyback off of that.
Player wise, there's more people probably today playing live service Microsoft games on a PlayStation than there are people playing the big PlayStation first party tentpole games.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of what 500 million monthly active users that Xbox has. This was why Sony was started to kind of almost like panic internally and being like, what have we been doing all this time? We've just been relying on these like big budget first party single player games that don't drive any kind of ongoing revenue or engagement or anything. People play them, they're done with them, they move on, they wait until they buy the next one, and even those games have been going down in sales, and they haven't been selling as well.
Well, right? Remember Herman came out himself, and Herman was, I think, I don't know if Herman's Jim Boss or they're equivalent, but Herman himself, remember, came out and said 20 million's great, but that's not good enough. Like that's cool for a month, but after that we need some reoccurring income here.
So you see PlayStation like kind of do this like, well, we got to figure this out. And then they go too far all in on one thing. And then they kind of ruin their regular pipeline too. They end up canceling all these projects, end up launching with this year with probably the most exciting one of them all, which is Concord. That's the one that somehow makes it through all of the shit show that went on for a couple years now while they've been kicking the can on these games of service games. And now that game doesn't even have a real roadmap. They're saying everything's there at launch, $40. Here you go. Right. Well, that's not really what they said they were trying to do to begin with. They had a success with Helldivers 2, which kind of caught them off guard, I think.
Yeah.
But then they kind of screwed that up a little bit and upset some of the players. And I think it's
with the PlayStation ID thing.
Yeah, but like,
The
it's still
idea.
going to be a good game that's going to have some traction and all that kind of stuff. But like overall, like they just don't seem like they understood how to do what they needed to do.
When you ignore multiplayer and live service for 2 decades, this is what happens. You can't just jump back on the bike and be like, we know how to do this. Like, we're good. We got this. No worries. We don't do multiplayer anymore. We don't do any of that anymore, but we got this. It's been 20 years, but we're good. You just can't do that. Like, and I've asked the question, Mav, everybody here so many times, are they capable of making live service games? Is that template that they've been sticking with for the last 2 generations, can they step outside of that and be successful?
Marathon is it. If Marathon does not hit, and we're talking about, it has to be a massive hit. We're not talking about a baby Dayline little flamethrower. It has to hit, because they got rid of potentially 2 live service games that probably would have hit for them. Because when I seen what they did and let go of the Spider-Man multiverse live service game, I'm looking at that like, what? I understand that Disney's gonna get what they're gonna get, right? But that looked like that was something that was going to make me like, yo, you know what? I'm going to be on a PlayStation account because that looked dope. Then, of course, when you had with
Last of Us Factions,
with the Factions 2, regardless if it wasn't going to be a smash hit from the beginning, that was something for them to build on, and then to understand how to structure and get Sony to actually get into the live service aspect. They cut both of those for Concord and for what Bungie is going to do. So if Marathon does not, be a mega hit, then no, I just don't see it. And the way that Bungie is operating right now, because I think it was Fuzzy that said that, he was absolutely right. Bungie looked at the competition and was like, yo, these are people that's going to be taking engagement away from
we can't have that. Get that game out of here. What's that Last of Us stuff?
No, Mr. Ryan, this isn't good enough. You know, how in the world did Jim Ryan allowed Bungie to come in, fresh baby, powder on the ass, and then come in and tell a pure vet, a studio that has been putting Sony on the map and is labeled as one of the best studios ever in Naughty Dog Games, and have them to dictate what's good and what's bad is laughable to me. And it's also was the setup for them to say, no, we want to have our engagement for Destiny, for the other title that they were going to be making, I guess it's a spinoff, and then for Marathon. They seen how good those games actually probably would have been. So yeah, now I think that, man, listen, it was a coup de grace, and Sony wasn't expecting it because they was over here thinking that, well, Bungie knows what they're doing. But listen, Xbox definitely dodged the bullet. I know that there was a lot of people that was pissed off because they have a problem with 343 and how they do things. But if we had Bungie at this point, Halo would be
a nonstop news cycle.
Halo would be done. So again, that to me is because they would have sacrificed Halo for Destiny and for whatever else that they would have put in place. So it is a crazy situation to think. It's a crazy dynamic to where they're at. But the sad thing about it is that Sony did this themselves by last gen going all in and saying that single player games, third person over the shoulder games were the stuff, and then the media followed suit and said live service games were the devil, they were Satan, and they shouldn't be high praised like they have been. And more the gaming community has dictated, no, this is where I like to play. This is where I like to be. And then when you look at this and seeing single player games is great, but it's just like what Fuzzy said as well, is that, listen, those games aren't selling as well. Those single player games is not selling as well. Now, not saying that if they dropped the Ghost of Tsushima 2, that wasn't hit 20, 30 million sold. But the reality of it is that you only got you can only bring those games once every 4 to 5 to 6 years. So so Sony is a weird situation, and so that's, to me, is that if Marathon doesn't hit, they're cooked. And if the whole rumors about what Xbox is going to be doing, it is that Trojan horse. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like it. I don't like it, but the reality of it is that, listen, if you put those type of Xbox live service titles on there, especially like if I don't think it's Forza Horizon, I really don't think it's that. But let's just say that it was, hypothetically, your PlayStation's live service games are cooked. Because if Xbox gets that, and then let's say that they bring the Master Chief Collection, well, these games are already solidified. These games are already ready to go, and they're good, and they got plenty of content. PlayStation, and this is adding more to the Xbox, to the Xbox ethos of people playing the games on their through their ecosystem. PlayStation has got to come up with a strategy to where they can compete, and they can't at that point. So this could be something where Xbox is saying, look, we're bringing this to you. We know that, this might be great for new gamers, but this isn't going to, but what we're trying to do is to become the head honcho and get that top revenue spot. So where we are the market leader. That's just the strategy I think Microsoft is going.
Did everybody forget that Concord's dropping? I mean, that's going to solve all their problems. I don't know what you guys are all talking about.
Band-Aid on a broken leg, brother.
Bro. Just wait, Mego. Just wait until Halo and Gears drop over on PlayStation.
Bro,
Xbox is going to control the multiplayer section of PlayStation.
It's over.
It's done.
Oh, getting COD was taking like 60% of the market anyway.
Well, right, but I'm just saying all of it. Like Xbox already has all the live service. They already have all of these things, and they're bringing back one of the biggest shooter franchises in history in Gears. They're going to reboot the granddaddy in Halo. And they're going to drop them on PlayStation. Like, I have no doubt about that. Again, I hate this, but this is the direction they're going. They're going to drop them over there, and anything that PlayStation has going is going to be demolished.
Cooked.
Like, it is. It's over with, man.
Yeah.
And that's the master plan, right? Mm-hmm. That's the Trojan horse. If you're not going to accept Game Pass, okay, you're not going to accept Game Pass on your service. Fine. We'll just drop all of our big live service titles over to your players, and we'll go ahead and take our cut of all that things. That's what they're doing.
And right? You can't get none of the marketing either.
No, you get none of that. Yeah. You get none of the benefit.
Yeah. Nothing. And also, this is the thing. I don't know how many of you guys watched the Jungle Book, not the live action or the cartoon back in the days.
Cartoon for sure.
The snake that was the friend. Yep. And then all of a sudden wrapped up, and it was like, listen, I'm just
hypnotizing them.
And then hypnotized. That's what Microsoft is doing. That is the Trojan horse approach. I understand that for some Xbox gamers out there, they're looking at this situation and they're not like, listen, I don't think anybody on this panel liked the direction. Because we're such old school type of gamers, and we feel that, like, look, exclusives matter on that aspect. But when you look at the scheme of things of what Xbox is going to do is to try to finally put PlayStation in the back burner, is to like, okay, they ain't coming to us, we'll come to you. But the way that we'll come to you, we're going to hurt you in a bad way, because you have to find a way to try to get to where we are already, and that is with live service games. We can pump out as many first party games single player games as we want to, but it's where everybody knows where the meal ticket is the live service games. And so when we bring out these live service games and we put them on the platform, while we have all these stands out here bragging about it, and they'll throw it in our face and rightfully so, let them gloat. But at the end of the day, PlayStation is going to be in a precarious situation by they're like, goddamn, Marathon has to be our golden ticket, because if they don't, and Xbox is bringing these games over there, people are going to gravitate to them, and then we're not. And the only thing PlayStation is going to be synonymous for is their single player content, and they're pumping more money into these games because people are expecting them to. It's going to be a problem going forward. So,
well, Mega, you got to understand, this is the whole reason I said this from the jump. Bungie was a panic buy. They knew Call of Duty was going out the door. They tried the whole FTC thing, Jim taking goddamn red eyes to Europe every couple of days over there talking to the CMA and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That was just to delay the inevitable. They knew they weren't going to be able to stop that deal at all. They weren't going to be able to halt the deal from happening. We need something quick. I can imagine Herman calling Jim like, hey, bro, like we got to do something. We can't stop this we can't do anything about this. So we got to do something quick. Call Bungie, call somebody, see what's going on. They overpaid for Bungie. I think we all realize that.
Oh yeah, no,
they clearly over, and then they pulled the whole. Well, we're paying the extra Billy to keep the actual talent. That shit didn't happen.
Right.
They clearly didn't pay the extra to keep the talent because they've had 2 layoffs.
The books were cooked, baby.
We talked about that. They cooked them books. That Jim didn't even look at them books. He said, "How much y'all need?
Look good.
We're good.
Yeah, we good. Yeah,
We're good.
yeah, we straight."
No, the books were legit. They had names on there like Ford Bronco and, Harley Davidson motorcycle. Yeah, they were legit.
Yeah, no, that's just the situation that I look at it. Like I agree to 2 parts of this because I see people that bring up the fact of that they're degrading the Xbox console. I would say yes for new users and people that are looking for a second console. Yes, the way that Xbox's strategy is going, it does degrade it in that way. But for us, everybody on this panel and the people that are listening that are Xbox primary fans, it does not degrade because as long as they still continue to make consoles for we will still be, because we're this is where we're mostly invested in. Yeah, we are multi console or platform oriented, right? But the reality of it is that everybody on this panel, I do feel, has more games purchased and bought or purchased on Xbox than we do on any other platform. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it doesn't degrade the Xbox at all for us. It's just, and so Xbox has come to a strategy of saying, look, if our sales numbers are going to keep coming down on the hardware, then we have to understand the reality is that we lost a generation, like Phil Spencer said. I love the transparency for Phil Spencer, but now Xbox should be in this point of just saying, we're just going to shut the hell up and we're just going to do what we got to do. Because the one biggest problem I felt as me being a member on the BGST team, right, is that as we see, I'm really the only one left, except for Showstopper, that's still an Xbox fan. Everybody else is on PlayStation side, or there might be a hybrid or 2 or whatever. And those people had the most, had at that time, the biggest voice to come out and kind of dictate what's going on. Like when they brought up, and I fought this to tooth and nail, right? You know what I'm saying? I was the baby on the team at that time. And I was like, when I heard, well, we don't need Japanese games. We don't need this. And I'm like, that's bullshit. We do. What are you talking about? This is what's killing the Xbox One. We're looking at seeing PlayStation just decimate the Xbox One because of the content that it lacks. When you see Persona, when you see Fighters, when you see all these other games that is getting all this attention and Xbox is not getting it, what's going to warrant a person that may want to look at an Xbox to go? Then on top of that, the features that's on Xbox One that they decimated when they sit there and they listen to them and other people that were saying, we don't need all these features. I just want an Xbox. While PlayStation slowly kept on doing the same things what Xbox One was doing, following off of what the 360 was doing, and then kind of just decimated it. I want Xbox to now finally say, you know what? We love our fans, but some of you motherfuckers are too, excuse my language, are too fickle and can't be trusted. Because the fact of it is that you care about more your engagement than carrying out by being more of an Xbox fan. And therefore, that's why we have to do what we have to do to maintain this for the true Xbox fans that want to see Xbox persevere. And I know that Phil and them probably cringe, just like we all do, about maybe the potential of Starfield, Hellblade, and them going over to being ported over to PlayStation. Ew, that makes my stomach turn saying it. But the reality of it is that, damn it, if they're going to go ahead and if they're going to pay to play, bring it. And we get to get the benefit of Game Pass. On top of that, the revenue that gets closer and closer to Sony's top revenue. And once that takes over, Sony can't do anything about it. they don't have anything to compete against what Xbox is trying to do unless PlayStation plays ball and starts porting their games over to Xbox. And at the end of the day, Xbox still gets what they want, where they wanted to end the console war, and they just want this whole thing to be where they want it to be, where everybody plays games and enjoy it, and we ain't even talking about the console anymore. That's my opinion on it.
No, man, it's a good point. It's a 100% good point, man. It's a lot of stuff, and we'll get into that too because we got some other things we need to talk about, and it'll touch on that too because I want to talk about Tango Gameworks here, and obviously the recent news that they've been purchased by new publisher Craft, and I believe it's a wing of Tencent, right? Tencent has something to do with that as well too. So it's just, once again, a beloved IP. We knew it already went over to PlayStation, but this is a big move. I'm excited for one because I hate to see talented studios completely close down and go away. So when I saw this, my first thought panel was great. All that, people will keep their jobs, right, and continue to make the awesome games. Now, we'll see what the relationship's like with Xbox. From what we're hearing, there's still a good relationship. So they're still going to make games, I'm sure they'll still be on Xbox, but I want to get the panels here take on just, that whole situation. Obviously, Mega talked about it. Mav, I believe, brought it up as well about, them putting games elsewhere. And, some of the pushback on this was, wow, you just let all that talent walk out the door. But, I don't know. I'm curious to see everybody else's take. We're going to start with you, Mav, on this one. When you heard the news, when you heard about it, were you similar to me, as far as like being excited about the talent still being able to, the studio being able to still continue on, or was it just oh man, Xbox fumbled?
No, I mean, it was still ultimately like not a win for Xbox, right? But like, I'm glad that the guys all at Tango, all the staff and everybody there got to keep their jobs. My initial reaction was like, wow, that's crazy. I thought they were gone.
Same.
Like this has been months now, and somehow they've still been in some kind of a limbo thing to be able to have enough staff left that's worth saving and acquiring, and with the Hi-Fi Rush IP. My next thing was I was happy for the fans of Hi-Fi Rush to be able to see that game franchise that was very well received, highly rated, much loved game that I feel like is going to get a big investment into now, because I ultimately think that's why Crafton made this move, because that's the IP that went along with Tango. So they weren't interested in Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, or Microsoft wanted to really hold on to those. I'm not sure exactly what transpired or with the negotiations and all that kind of stuff, right? But clearly they had to have Hi-Fi Rush as part of the deal, right? Crafton does a lot of mobile stuff as well, so I would expect maybe see some more investment in the franchise in some different ways as well. I think this is like, if you look at Crafton, obviously they're known for PUBG, right? They have some other games that they've done, a lot of mobile stuff, all this other kind of things, but like Hi-Fi Rush is probably their second most well-known IP now, which is crazy for this publisher to make this acquisition now, and they have a top-tier studio like Tango to kind of make these other kind of experiences. So I'm excited to see what they do. Ultimately, it was great to see that they were able to work something out. Microsoft still loses a great studio that could have bolstered games for them in the long run and been guaranteed day and date Game Pass games and all this other kind of stuff. What I'm hoping is maybe in this deal they worked out with Crafton, there's some kind of publishing agreement for like Game Pass deals or some kind of investment where or some guarantees that they're going to be putting the games.
It sounded like the relationship was still at least cordial, right? They weren't like, it wasn't terrible.
The Tango devs were upset.
Absolutely.
This thing happened. Absolutely. I mean, they were making posts and all these other kind of things. But it's good that this worked out, right? Ultimately, like Microsoft still loses the studio.
They do.
But I'm happy for Tango. This is a huge win for Tango and for Hi-Fi Rush. So that's ultimately what's most important. That these games are still going to get made, going to exist, and we'll see what Crafton does with the studio. I'm hoping for the best for all of them.
Same. Facts. And the whole, it's so, like you said, I think we get caught up, we get lost in the sauce with this game and stuff. You know what I mean? There's a lot of grifting going on, unfortunately, a lot of gaslighting going on when it comes to these games. We should really and I love the fact that you brought this up, Mav, that ultimately the win is them continuing to make games, period. Like, we don't even need to go any further than that. Like, because that's the real win for all of us. Because that's what's going to benefit us the most. I mean, irregardless of whatever console or whatever system you play on, PC, whatever the case may be, them continuing to make games is going to benefit us, whether it's directly on Xbox, whether it's on PlayStation, PC, whatever the case may be. But I'm super, super happy about that. All that other discourse about, I get Xbox losing the talent that's never good, right? And I thought Hi-Fi Rush was an easy slam dunk. Like, that's a walking W. Like, you got the characters, the way the game looked. It was such a unique game. It was well accepted critically. It had everything you want in a game, and you want to build off that. So it is weird that they're like, we don't want to really keep that one, right? That's a little weird as far as, what that looks like. But maybe you're right. Maybe that had to be the one that they needed to purchase them. They're like, yeah, we're not buying y'all without that. So that could have been a thing as well too. But let me throw this over to you, Mega. Just kind of where you at on Tango being purchased. I know me and Mav just said, ultimately the talent still being able to still go out there, create, video games is ultimately what I was happy about. But where you at on that?
No, I'm very pleased with it. Of course, as me being a Hi-Fi Rush stan, I'm so excited to have that opportunity to have that game come back. I was highly disappointed. I know I'm not one of these people that get overly crazy or pissed off at Xbox like that. If I'm mad about something with Xbox, I say what I have to say and then I keep it pushing. But on that one, I thought that was a major fail on them to close that studio. And also, then I was a big fan of Ghostwire Tokyo. So I was kind of like, damn, you know what I mean? And even though I wasn't, I used to be a big fan of scary games. I don't know. Maybe in my old age, I've turned soft as pudding. So that is what it is. But I just felt like they had a good treasure trove of titles. But once the lead gentleman left, I kind of felt that the writing was on the wall. So, but I wasn't expecting them to close it down. But long story short, no, I'm very happy for Tango Games to still have life. Those people are still working. That's one of those things where people was out there throwing the spice at Xbox. How about we just give Xbox some time, some grace? I'm not saying that, listen, we should kiss Xbox ass or anything of that nature. I'm just saying, let's give them some grace, because every time that we see something where they've like with Toys for Bob, for instance, like everybody was on their neck, and then we come to find out that the deal that they've made, it still benefits Xbox gamers, and it also benefits the studio because the studio wants to be independent. Tango Games, they had to make those decisions because of the fact that I think that because of the main guy leaving that was a part of Platinum Games, that was a former part of Platinum Games, which, as you see, Platinum Games is shambles since he left. It just isn't the same type of studio. And so that means that maybe Hi-Fi Rush 2 wouldn't have been as good as the first title, or so forth and so forth with Evil Within going forward. So it is a positive step going forward. And I think that it was the right move, and Crafton got that. So also those games for Xbox holding on to those titles, hey, if Xbox wants to make deals with Sega or somebody else, Namco, Bandai, Capcom, to say,
anybody.
Look, anybody at this point, we want you to make an Evil Within. We want you to make a Ghostwire Tokyo for us. I think that this is a very smart move for them. I hope that they hold on to those IPs, because I think that those IPs have some quality. But to see Hi-Fi Rush having a home and coming out, and then we still get the benefits of it coming to Game Pass, I'm sure, and the fact that the older titles will still remain on Game Pass for that, and we have those discounts and things like that. I think it's a big win-win for everybody, in my opinion.
Awesome. All right, well, let me throw this over to you, Pong. And you just heard, K Mega, you know what I mean, just talking about this deal. And the one weird thing about all of this, Pong, is that we haven't talked, obviously we haven't had a chance to talk about this happening, but we were so excited when we saw Hi-Fi Rush. I remember the show after the direct that we did, and we were super excited, man, about that game. So I know for me and for you, we felt like that was an opportunity for Xbox. That was one of those, like, I don't know, like there's a market here that you can get into with this kind of game. Like, you have a realistic chance because of the way the game was accepted. It was such a unique right game as far as the music and the action adventure with the platform, and the quality was there from day one. Everything was there. The mascot, everybody loved, the mascot and the cat and all the characters. Like, everything was there. So to see them say, and once again, I don't know all the details, but just to see them kind of give that up is the only thing that I'm a little sour about. But ultimately they did keep some IPs, and the studio does continue on, which is, the big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add a whole lot here. Obviously, again, I gave my criticism when it happened because, I don't care the reason. Microsoft and Xbox are big. I don't.
I love that
because Microsoft and Xbox are big enough. They brag about record profits every quarter. You can keep, you can have your cake and eat it too. They could keep Tango open. They could grow it back. Shinji, leaving, sure, that's a big loss. Somebody of his talent, Shinji leaving.
But again,
you had young talent up and coming that they trained, that he trained personally,
directly,
that showed already in John Johannes could handle a project, a brand new IP like Hi-Fi Rush, and deliver a great product. So I think that's already shows you have a studio you could build around. Again, I'm not going to go back and relitigate this. It is what it is. Xbox did what they did at the time. I'm heavy critical because I don't care. Okay. I don't worship these companies. I'm a gamer through and through. I want to see more devs flourish anywhere they can. So now that Crafton's come in, and Xbox has sold it to them, happy. Applaud the hell out of Crafton for making this call. Want to see them get another shot. Ultimately, does it work out? Right? We don't know. We're going to find out, though. If Hi-Fi Rush 2 comes out and blows up bigger than Hi-Fi Rush 1 did, and Crafton takes all those characters that we talked about from that game and actually uses them the way that we said they could in marketing and that kind of stuff, maybe a cartoon shows up, right? That we all talked about. If that all happens, well, okay, all right.
The one that got away. We'll be talking about.
No, they had it.
No, I know.
I
know.
That's just another bad choice, a bad decision. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily happen, but I'm happy that they get the chance. I'm happy for John Johannes and the entire team. Obviously, in this day and age, all the layoffs we've seen, all the studio closures we've seen.
We rarely see them get saved like that.
Studios get saved. As much as, again, this industry is still growing. It's still massive, still the number one entertainment industry. We are getting more games than we ever have before. Like, it's still so good in certain areas, but obviously for a lot of people, it has not been good for them when it comes to the devs and that kind of stuff in a lot of smaller studios. So happy for the entire team. Could not be more happy that they got saved, that they're going to have a chance to do stuff. So hats off to Crafton, hats off to Tango for, still being around. Obviously saw Johannes, go on X right away and say, hey, we're back. So obviously excited. And it sounds like they're going to greenlight Hi-Fi Rush 2 right away. So we're going to find out in a couple years, right?
Yeah.
So as far as the other IP goes, I said it to you in the DMs, and I'll say it here again. I don't care. Just like any big giant publisher out there, Microsoft has a whole closet full of unused IP that I get sick of talking about. I want to see the IP continue to be used. Like Mega, I wasn't a hi-fi guy because again, I'm not into rhythm-based games. I suck at rhythm. I have zero rhythm. I love music, but I have zero rhythm.
Don't do the stereotype.
You're giving out too much ammo right now. Holy shit!
I am the stereotype.
Have y'all seen The Jerk with Steve Martin?
Yes.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
He's like Steve Martin getting on the board.
I am.
It's one of them.
I love music.
Either you're dancing or I need to pull out my phone and call 911.
Yeah. No, I can dance every once in a while. Like I used to dance, but it's white guy dancing, so whatever. I don't care. Listen. So I didn't get into hi-fi, but I appreciated. Again, I'm not one of those people that hates on games just because they're not for me. Yeah. I loved what I played. I played through the first level. Beat the first boss or whatever else, and knew the quality was there and loved the hell out of it. But like Mega, Ghostwire Tokyo, I got 50, 60 hours in the Ghostwire Tokyo. I love that game. That game's got so much potential. Such a cool concept, some really original ideas. Again, I love when we get to see Eastern mythology that we don't always get to see all the time. Now we've gotten a lot more of it, but still that spiritual world, modern day stuff, we don't see a lot of that still. This brought all of that in, and I really thought they had something special. If it's true that Microsoft, Xbox gets to keep that IP, don't throw it in your closet. I mean, I posted this on that. Don't throw it in your closet. Xbox, do something with it. Find somebody to do something with it, okay? Please, because I don't want to see Evil Within, even though I'm not a horror guy. There's a lot of Evil Within fans out there. I don't want to see Evil Within. I don't want to see Ghostwire Tokyo go the way of the Shadowruns, of all this other IP that you have in your closet just collecting dust. I don't want to see that happen to these because I do think they got a lot left to give.
What didn't Shinji Mikami start a new studio or something?
Yeah,
like what if they went back around and like, hey, Shinji Mikami makes the next Evil Within?
Sound
again,
like he didn't want to do Evil Within.
Yeah, I was gonna say he it seemed like he was just jaded. He wanted to do something completely different.
He was done with it.
Yeah.
That's why I say that's why I agree with you, Pong. Like listen, I mean, if it's they have enough IPs that can get us all satisfied, regardless if you wasn't into High Five Rush. I'm a High Five Rush stan. You're into we both are into Ghostwire Tokyo. Listen, there's plenty of studios that Xbox can work with. Hell, even within their own, you know what I'm saying? Like if they wanted to just try to do something completely different and say, I want UID to go do something with try to go do something with the horror gen or something because the way that you work with Doom, anything. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like it just, you're right. Enough of now. Xbox needs to more focus on expanding their portfolio within their lineup because they have plenty of IPs to work with now.
God, they got so much now.
So much now to work with. Yeah, a war chest. They don't have to keep going and venturing and things like that.
The good thing about Xbox is that they traditionally they're more liable to do that than like Nintendo or PlayStation. You know what I mean? They kind of stick to the same formula. Xbox traditionally will take those chances, do things different. Variety is actually their biggest strength of Xbox. Right, that's the one thing. I mean, everybody has all three have different IPs. But variety is their greatest strength. Yeah,
it is. And let me make it clear again. This isn't just an Xbox problem. They happen to own a lot of IP through all their acquisitions over the years. But this is a Sony problem. Sony has the same issue with a bunch of. We list off all the IP that Sony should be making right now that they don't. Right. That is the case for all.
Even
these
Nintendo drags their feet every now and then.
Nintendo does, but all the big publishers do. Right. 2K. Ubisoft, they all have great IP that is just dead and dormant that we would all love to see come back. So it's not just an Xbox thing. I was just bringing it up here because they supposedly kept Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, two kind of fresh IP, right? That does have do have fan bases that I would like to see them do something with and not be part of the lost IP.
Facts.
And to Microsoft's credit on this, as from the other first party publishers and all these other kind of things, like they are going big, bringing back Fable. They are going big.
That is true.
Bringing back.
They've reached back. Yeah,
and they're going long, big investment development cycles with these teams and trying something fresh and unique with these games. And so they're doing it to an extent. Gears, they're rebooting Gears again with the prequel thing. So they're really kind of staying true to the identity of some of these big time Xbox franchises and stuff. So this bigger the stable gets, though, it's going to be crazier and harder because the question is like, who makes these games, right? They had to go to Playground for Fable. We never would have imagined that in a million years, right?
Well, the underrated part of
new studio for for Perfect Dark. So, they got to be creative with how they do these things.
Let's hope Phil heard Fergus Urquhart's quote about bringing back Shadowrun for Obsidian. Let's hope that Phil heard that and said, "Okay, let's go talk. Let's do this," because I would love to see that on that point. Yeah. So
I mean, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to your point, PTK, and what Matt was talking about, and what Mega brought up. Again, they now have the ability to go and create teams to work on this dormant IP or to bring back IP like they are with Fable and Perfect Dark. They have that opportunity now. We talked about this many times and they discuss it themselves. They're creating that small team within Blizzard to work on smaller projects, right? They want to do this. They said they want their teams collaborating. And again, I've always said some of this stuff, like some of the IP that you think would be great to come back, all they got to do is have a giant Zoom meeting with all the teams across all your divisions and go, who wants to work on this IP? And you will have hands up everywhere, depending on what the IP is. And you go select the best of the best and form a team and start seeing what they come out with. They have the ability now with as much talent as they have underneath the umbrella, with all the IP that they've got, with all these teams, to literally do that kind of stuff and start projects and with small teams like they've already had success with Grounded and all this kind of stuff. You take a small team, you start to see what the project's going to bring you, and if it's looking good, then you expand that team and start growing that project.
And you got the perfect vehicle anyway in Game Pass. So
yes, and you build it that way out. But I think it's a great point that we've talked about plenty, that's the position they're in. They have almost the complete moat now that they can fully rely on themselves to create any game out of any genre that they need. Like they don't have to rely on any third parties anymore. Of course, they're still going to do deals. Of course, they're still going to have partners. But the facts are the facts. If they can't find somebody or partner with somebody to make a game, they can do it all in-house now, hands down.
Facts.
They're one of the few publishers that can.
And obviously, there's logistics here. Obviously, in a perfect world, if they just had a magic wand, everybody could be ready to make these games. Because obviously, there's pipelines, deadlines. These studios have to want to make the games, and a lot of them are in the middle of making their own. So some of these things aren't going to happen right away. I think we understand that obviously here on the panel. So, but the idea though, the ability to do it is there. Remember when they bought Blizzard, right? Or Blizzard when they bought God damn it, when they bought not Blizzard, Bethesda. Yeah, then we talked about now all of a sudden Obsidian's with Bethesda now, and they they're with an Exile now, and all that they've all what I mean. So the possibility these things can potentially happen, and I feel like it has been happening. I feel like they've probably had those conversations at least maybe a few times about potentially once they're done with whatever their timeline and their roadmap looks like. Maybe let's get a small team together and tackle some of these other things that we've maybe wanted to do together. So I want to make sure I get Fuzz in here too. Get your bars off on this Tango situation. Just your first impression about when it happened. Obviously, what'd you think right away, and then maybe what fruits are we going to see from Tango?
Well, it's kind of along the lines of what we saw with, or at least for me, what we saw with Toys for Bob. Like, I was one of those that was kind of, I wouldn't say pissed off, but like disappointed in the closure of Tango. And yeah, I get the business aspect. It didn't do as well financially, blah, blah, blah. But there's so much potential. And after all the efforts that they made in Japan to kind of, lure a lot of these devs to bringing stuff to their platform, it seemed like it was counterintuitive. It seemed like it was going against what they had worked so hard for these past 5 or 6 years, where they were now starting to make more inroads beyond just Capcom and beyond Sega, especially considering with Atlas being one of their biggest gets as far as getting on the platform and stuff. It just seemed like it wasn't the right move, but I don't see the book, so I can't really speak to that. But in the grand scheme of things, yes, I know Mikami left. I know one of the other ladies left to start her own studio as well. There was still a decent amount of people there, and with Johannes there, I always thought it would be better to build the studio around him. Like if he was geared to kind of be the prodigy or the next, leader for that studio, build it around him. Listen to him since he's out there in Japan, and listen to some of those that are at the studio. And I know a lot of people will look at like the finances of like keeping the studio open across the globe, but it's far cheaper to run a studio that far away from you in Japan than it is right in your backyard in Washington State or even in California, because of cost of living. There it's not even remotely close. Like you could run 3 Tangos for the price of one studio in California right now. So that whole deal just seemed weird to me. But the fact that, they were able to find a new home, let's say, and that the relationship isn't too fractured or anything along those lines, or at least how it seems at the moment, it still gives them the opportunity to partner with that studio for a future, Ghostwire Tokyo or Evil Within. And meanwhile, maybe, some of the people that control the purse strings over at Microsoft didn't see the value in investing further into that IP, like Pong was saying, with the cartoon or something along those lines. This with Crafton, they have the wherewithal to try those things. I mean, they are more known for mobile stuff as well as for PUBG. So maybe we see, a mobile version of this.
Hi-Fi Rush,
maybe we see it launch, day and date with the, the Switch 2 or whatever. Like, I think that will help that title or that IP in general. And they'll probably have a Hi-Fi Rush 2 not too far, down the road. Unlike us getting like a what do you call it, Sunset Overdrive 2, which I would also like, but I don't think that's anywhere near in the cards right now. But outside of that, we remember the rumors where they were working on like this anime RPG. So maybe that was the other kicker that Crafton saw. And, since it wasn't an officially named IP, it probably didn't go anywhere beyond storyboard or early phases. Crafton can come in and that's their new IP at this point. I mean, I was under the impression that was one of the things that John Johannes was looking at, possibly next outside of like a Hi-Fi Rush type of deal. So if Crafton saw that, much like we've heard Phil seeing other projects in the works at all the studios that they've acquired over the years, like, what is it? Clockwork Revolution is part of the reason why Exile was, picked up. And when it comes to with what do you call them? Compulsion, we now know that, South of Midnight was that thing that they were kind of working on, and they saw the potential, or Phil saw the potential in it. So maybe Crafton saw that same thing with that anime RPG that they were kind of kicking around type of deal. So it's a win for the studio and the talent there. Yes, I know some people have probably moved on to other places. I mean, it's a volatile industry. I applaud anybody that stays in gaming design. It just seems like turnover is much more so than a lot of other industries out there. But all in all, I think that the studio continuing on, the fact that they're going to, Crafton will probably work on building up that team for that IP, as well as any additional things that they feel that they might be, profitable with and stuff like that, I think is a good thing. On the Xbox side of things, I don't think it's a bad thing in any way. I think there's still that potential. Like I said, partnership, much like with Toys for Bob, with them working on an IP for Xbox and stuff like that. We could see the same thing with Tango in the future. So
yeah,
it makes it a little bit easier to accept that, okay, they've moved on, and Microsoft decided to keep those IPs, whether Crafton couldn't afford what Microsoft was charging for them, or if it was just a matter that maybe Microsoft saw that, well, if these guys are willing to keep the bill or keep the lights on for these guys, well, then that saves us some money. So maybe in a year we can revisit talking about Evil Within, 3 or something along those lines. So I think this is probably the best outcome possible, given the circumstances of as far as the option being closure or continuation. I would say the continuation, even if it's under a different publisher or a parent company, is probably the best situation. And I hope this becomes more of a norm. I know we talked about Sony not too long ago with Bungie stumbles, and very much in the near future, we could see Bungie be absolved or absorbed into PlayStation and no more Bungie. So I would much rather see, instead of studio closures, maybe, to the highest bidder kind of thing happen in the future. But we'll see how it works out for other places. But for Tango, I think this is, the best possible situation.
Well, part of the reason I think so, part of that too, is that they had something to fucking keep. You know what I mean? They had something to offer. You got to have something that you got to bring to the table. Like we want to save everybody, but realistically, not everybody is bringing the goods, right, Mega? Right, Mav? Like not everybody's not everybody's doing their part. So sometimes there's legitimately a reason, like you're not like your games aren't doing what they should be, or there's some other logistical reason as to why, we might need to offload you, close you, downsize, whatever the case may be. So I just want to make sure we're realistic about that, because
that's advertising for High Five Rush. I don't think that they even expect High Five Rush to be that type.
I don't think so either.
Good of a title.
Yeah.
And then of course, just we found out about how their marketing is and the funding behind it. And then when you have people that will talk about a game, but then they don't play it or have access to it until you start hearing something positive about it, that also affects. That's why Xbox is in the weird position that they're in, because there's not an Xbox that I know of, an Xbox content creator that's in the millions, subscription side, that has, 1 million subscribers or higher. And so therefore everybody else is, so when you have the highest group of Xbox gamers out there, and then they don't even tout a game like High Five Rush, they'll mention it, but then they don't mention it until it gets some kind of acclaim or anything like that, then I think that damages the title as well, because where games need to really hit between that 30 to 90 month mark, I would say I think it's even reduced now to 30 to 60 day mark. It just doesn't benefit, and so then you kind of cripple the title. So and then with the lack of the advertisement that Xbox has had, you have the scenario with this, and it's unfortunate, because High Five Rush is and was at that time when it came out, and I would defend that was probably the most polished title that came out.
I said that
last year. Every game that came out even Baldur's Gate, when it came out on PlayStation and when it came out on PC, that it had its problems. Like High Five Rush was a true gem.
Feel like I was playing a Nintendo game, OG Nintendo game to just a Sega game to just work right out the box, right?
Yeah,
no updates or anything like that. So no, 1,000%, and before we wrap this show up, because we've been having such great conversations, a shout out to Chad. You guys been hanging out with us, Umbra, Louise, Cyber, everybody chilling. I appreciate you guys so much, and once again, hit the like button. But I do have a question, just kind of a round robin question. I know we talked about Gamescom earlier. I didn't get everybody's potential, surprise. Put you guys' feet to the fire a little bit before we wrap this thing up. And Mav, I know you talked about it a little bit, but do you just off the cuff, man, if you were essentially pushing the buttons, pulling the strings at Xbox, what's your surprise? What you bringing to Gamescom?
Man, that is tough as heck to answer, because with Xbox, there's 1 in a million scenarios, because you can never kind of predict sometimes what they're gonna do. I think that we get some kind of actual game announcement of something we haven't heard about before. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily a big game, but one of these smaller project type games. I think they might actually say, okay, let's use this opportunity here at Gamescom. We have these shows, we have these 3 days of streams, we have opening night live and stuff, and the eyes are going to be on us a little bit here. We have a huge fan attendance that is going to be here at the showcase and stuff, or for the show floor. So let's actually go ahead and take this time at Gamescom to actually announce some kind of game, something that would have gotten lost in the shuffle at some of the other bigger events.
That's a good point.
Something that would have been because if you do a new game announcement at the showcase they had, if it's a smaller type game, right, it's gonna get lost in that shuffle, because that showcase was insane. Just so many huge, massive games. And you look at
Brett just said KI2.
That'd be a big one. That one,
that's probably a showcase, right? That's maybe more showcase. Okay. I knew you was gonna chime in on that, Meg. I knew you was gonna have something to say. Don't do that. You like that? They're not putting my game on no second-rate show. Get that shit out of here.
Better be on Keely's show. That's what we need to hear. Anyway,
go ahead, Mav.
I try and rack my brain around what kind of announcement it could be. one of these Activision games, maybe like a Spyro thing or something like that gets announced. Something interesting and something different that would have just been lost beforehand. This is the time where you announce something like that.
Okay, all right, K Mega. If you pulling the strings, pushing the buttons, they like Mega. This is your show. What you bringing the game? What you bringing to Gamescom for your surprise?
I agree with Mav. It isn't going to be something substantial, but it's something that will be very newsworthy. And I think this is the perfect place to announce older IPs to be announced on Game Pass, like the older CODs or the older.
That's a good.
Like some of the old Activision titles. That not of course not all of them. I mean, they have to do some work with the licenses and things like that. But I mean, if you could say that we're bringing Transformers Cybertron and maybe a couple of CODs to be available on through the that's a big announcement. I should say just bring back backwards compatibility, that we're revamping backwards compatibility. I think that would be a great place to do that at, because again, like what Mav said, which is absolutely right. If you did that at the June show, it would have been like, oh my God, yes, we talked about it, but then it would have been overshadowed with everything else that they showed. Here, I think it would be the perfect platform to do it because it's not big enough to be shown at the VGAs. I think that this would be the perfect venue to show it at.
Okay. I'm gonna steal Pong's on this one. Sorry, Pong. I gotta let you know ahead of time. It's so a game, yes, maybe not. I like your idea, Mega, because I think that's perfect too for a venue for this kind of show. Mm-hmm. Another batch of Activision games, classic games. That's a big enough deal. I think people will be excited about that. But I also think a game we've already heard about that we haven't seen much of, something like a not Concord. Lord have mercy.
Jesus.
I know, right? Holy shit. No. What the fuck am I talking
Contraband?
about? Contraband. Shit, yeah. Contraband is what I mean. I apologize.
Has sold Concord to Xbox.
Breaking news. Shit. Let me not.
They already waved the white flag. They're just bringing it over because they need
holy
as
shit.
as possible.
Here, you know how to do games of service. You take it.
Wow.
Fucking playing hot potato with Concord. Anyway. But so it's Contraband, right? Something that we haven't seen much of a couple years. We haven't talked about it a night, and it's not like huge. Like, yeah, you could put it on you could show that at the showcase. Yeah, you could probably show it at the Keeley's too. But I mean, something like that, just a brand new sneak peek. Like, oh, we got a new trailer with a little bit of gameplay, or just a little, maybe showing the environments, characters, things like that. Something like that works for me too, Mega. So I think that would fit Gamescom. Not necessarily. I love your idea. I even love Mav idea too. Brand new IP, but even just a look at a game that we didn't expect or think that we were going to get a look at as well. I think that works. So let me throw this over to you, Pong. I know I stole your answer, but you might have a new one.
Fine. There's a lot of different ways to go here, and I said another one. Like I said, Final Fantasy 16. I think shows up
you did say that.
As a surprise on the Xbox stage, and I think it could be announced for Game Pass too, because I think Square needs to take that franchise back to its roots, and I think they need to start cultivating that fan base, and that's exactly what Atlas did with Persona. Doesn't matter how big the franchise is. Persona was gigantic, but they knew they had to get people to try it. So what do? They put them all on Game Pass, right? And now they've got a solid fan base on Xbox, and when number 6 is announced, it's going to come to Xbox. It probably won't be Game Pass day and date, but now they have a solid fan base that's going to go ahead and just go buy it. So that's what you got to do. So I think Square rebuilding that relationship and rebuilding the trust with Xbox players specifically, because of how wishy-washy they have been, goes a long way. And I think you start that with Final Fantasy 16, which is obviously heavily rumored. It's quite obvious because, they came out and said, and, another platform. They just couldn't say the name Xbox. I think this is the perfect spot to do it. So that would be my surprise here. Overall, I got to throw this out there because Special Nick put it out there. Let's hope this is one of his real rumors. Again, take or leave Special Nick, but this is Speculation Town. You got two of the mayors here tonight. We always do Speculation Town.
We here.
Xbox Air tonight, they had a special show because they're all together. They all got to meet up finally. Special Nick put it out there. What we've talked about happening is happening, so we will see. But if they have something in place, they could announce this here as part of like what K-Mega was talking about. Special Nick saying that they are in talks with Marvel to get the licensing redone for both Deadpool and for Marvel Ultimate Alliances to come back.
I love it.
Like, listen,
Whoa,
if they're doing
come
that
on,
along with Hasbro, which Hasbro threw up
They
their hands and
said,
said, please come talk to us.
Yeah.
So with Transformers, I believe that is going to happen for sure. But if they could announce like all that stuff coming back to backwards compatibility and coming forward, that would be massive. You guys know me, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, please. And then call Nintendo and say, can we get number 3 over here, please? Can we just get the whole trilogy? We'll give you let's work a deal. Let's get this done because that being locked on Switch sucks. But if that's true,
right
what
here,
a
waiting
perfect
for you. It's raining.
Yeah,
It's raining.
Hey,
Right
screw
there.
that, Bob. How about this? Just make a deal for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4.
right.
And announce
Just cut
that
it
to
down.
the Xbox.
Yeah, just say
I like
co-publishing
that.
deal, whatever. Co-publishing deal, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. Whatever you need to do, just do it, right? So if this is real, perfect spot for this backwards compatibility stuff. I love it.
It's right
Whatever
here
they can
waiting.
announce, any additions to the Activision Blizzard portfolio coming, again, you guys all know I want true crime. It will take more work. Maybe it'll take more work, but I want true crime back. Whatever they can announce, bring it, and let everybody know that some of that stuff is starting to come in here. That'll be a big, nice announcement for Gamescom as well. So
Love it.
Yep.
Fuzz, last but not least, brother, they handed you the keys, man. They said, Fuzz, take us home, man. What are you bringing to Gamescom, brother?
Whew. That's
Insert
really a
racing
tough-
game here.
I know, right?
I was thinking about that, but it'd be a tough one because I think, much like you guys had made mention, things like Contraband should make an appearance. Maybe even Double Fine's game. We know that they're possibly working on 2 at this moment. So maybe the official announcement of at least one of those at this would be nice. But I think the big thing for me would be not as much the Game Pass stuff, because I like what K Mega said as far as also with bringing some of those Activision titles, the licensed ones and things like that, and the same thing like what Pong was saying as far as the rumors with Nick. Those would all be great, but I kind of want the service stuff like talked about, whether it's, hey, we finally do have a family plan, which would be awesome, so I can save some money, or have it where, okay, for all those Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, your purchased library of console games and things like that should now all be streamable via the cloud as well. I know they said they were going to do it at some point this year or sometime soon, which could mean today, tomorrow, 2 years from now kind of thing. But having something like that, I think would be pretty big, especially now with me being on the road a lot more, and them also doing the Fire Stick thing. Having stuff that you've already purchased that's outside of Game Pass be accessible would be awesome. So I hope they do something along those lines. It may not be the big spotlight type of thing, but I think it would bring enough attention to the service that more and more people that may have been on the fence will either upgrade to Ultimate or at least consider it at this point, because the value is undeniable at this point. But if you're also having it where you can purchase games and then still play them through that service, I think that's the new way moving forward, and kind of the direction I think Microsoft is looking to go anyway, where if, let's say 2 generations from now, when consoles aren't the main, stay for gaming, you at least have the ecosystem and access to all that you've purchased within that ecosystem. I think that's the way moving forward. So we'll see.
I love that idea too. That's such a cool idea too. Like family plan, things like that. But once again, this kind of highlights what we've all said. There's so many, and this is a good problem for Xbox, right? I think that encompasses everything we've been talking about. This is not the 2017, 2015 Xbox. Like, they are locked and loaded. They got plenty of things going on, whether good or bad. They got motion though, right? They have options, which they didn't have for a long period of time. So I think we're all extremely excited about that. But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show on that note. So, chat, shout out to all you guys, man. Fucking phenomenal show. First show back after about 5 weeks or so. You guys rocked it out once again, man. So, retweet it. Anybody watching on the replay, I appreciate you guys as well too. But let me go ahead and get my guys out of here, go around the horn here, so we can let everybody go on about their weekend. We're gonna start with you, K Mega, the OG. First and foremost, bro, I gotta say, I know you hanging it up. We gotta put the jersey in the rafters. You know what I'm saying? Get you a bronze statue with the jersey in the rafters. But bro, just personally, man, I appreciate you. You one of my OGs. When I first started doing this show, you one of the people that originally reached out to me, gave me a lot of support. You one of the first people to come on the show as well too. So I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I appreciate everything you did for GRG and being kind of one of those pillars in the community for as long as you have, bro. So love to see you right off in the sunset on your terms, right? Not somebody else's or for some other reason.
Right.
But I had to get my bars up before you talk here, brother.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. That just because GRG is going to be closing it up here at the end, because like I said, we got 2 more episodes. One is after my birthday in August on the 30th, and then the last episode will be after the VGAs in December. And then that's it. And it's not one of these things where I'm saying where GRG will pop back up or something. No. I'm not one of those people. When I say it's done, it's done. The channel will still be there. I'll still be doing Fight Night Sundays. I'll still be doing more streaming, things like that, and then giving out my thought videos or streams every once in a while. But it's just, I think that it's just a new direction for my channel for what I want to do. And I think that, GRG has helped out so many different people, from Fonzarelli to the women from GWG, from, what I'm saying, for you look at what Ham Solo is doing, and then from just, 100, and then, what I'm saying, 100 was around before I got really started, but, but just all the things, 108 Dragons TV, just so many other people that we've had a part of being a part of GRG. It's a testament to what we've done and just for the people, the listeners that's been a part of it. But saying it's just a new time and a new effort. I do appreciate that, PTK Blam. But you could catch me. I'm going to do another stream. I was like, oh my goodness! Now I have people hitting me up all of a sudden. I'm going to be on Web Dave's podcast tomorrow night. So come and check us out. And then right after that, I'll be doing Fight Night Sunday. I've kind of been on a break. I'm saying 2024 has been a sucky ass year for me. My mom passed away. Then my dog died just like about 2 months ago. And so I was just like, God damn. So, but I just kind of needed a break and then just kind of reset and then just get back to it. But yeah, we'll be doing Fight Night Sunday again, and then I'll be doing my sports games and then other streaming of just regular games and just bringing out different type of content. But I really do appreciate the invite, man. You know what? Listen, man, I always been a fan. I will be getting back on Diablo, brother, here when that new update comes up. All right. Do not be a stranger. Hit me up. Facts. We will definitely get in, understand, and do the damn thing. But yeah, no, I definitely do appreciate it, man. Thank everybody on the panel, you know what I'm saying? And yes, thank everybody that's watching and celebrating a good night for seeing PTK Blam back. It's good. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, and y'all know what to do, man. If I don't ask y'all a whole lot of favors, chat, but please go show Mega some support on the channel. Irregardless of what he decides to do, that's a great human being. So please, it's my brother. So please go show some love for everything he has going over there, man. But I appreciate you taking the time out, Mega. Thank you, bro. I know you're a busy dude. You got a family, you got things going on, but thank you for taking a couple hours out of your weekend. Hang out with us here and give some of that good knowledge, brother. So thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So let me go and throw this over to Mav, my other brother. Always here at the Shop Podcast. Got a room. We just built him a room out back, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Yeah, I had to reveal that live on air. You got a room at the crib now, Mav. So you come through. You got your own spot. But I appreciate you, brother. General of FSP, man. But let everybody know where they can find you if they don't already know, Mav.
Yeah, man. It's great to see you back, dude. It's great to be here actually with K Mega. It's been a long time since I've been able to talk to you. Pong, Buzz, guys, I see you all the damn time, but it's okay. I'm glad to see you again tonight. And Pong, this was kind of weird. This was like your first full slate of shows in a while, like
month and a half,
full week,
it's been a while.
We all been fucked up. God, I'm just realizing why we all
saying.
Mega, me, man. Golly.
It's been like 2 shows a week, maybe
Yeah.
3, but never a full slate. This is like my first full slate in a long time. I'm just happy that you're alive and here, Mav, tonight.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
to-
Oh
Me
my
too.
goodness.
That's
Me
all.
too. You know, because
Touch and go.
You would think Mav had the T virus the way you
Oh,
talking,
it was
man.
touch and go for him, man. It still is.
It might as well been. I was Googling, like, is there Umbrella Corp close to
You was
me?
using WebMD, Mav. You was using WebMD.
Yeah, what am I? What does shortness of breath and constipation mean? Am I going to die?
Damn, that man's on his last breath. Listen, I was going to give you a little bit of smoke because I kept one of your tweets for the Thunder Mavs game, and because you was like, it's a sweep. And I'm like, you bastard, it's not. I knew the Mavs was going to win. I said in 6 or 7, but we'll be looking for you next year. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a good ride. It's going to be a good rivalry. I
Oh
like
man,
it. But yeah.
we got killed in the finals though, bro.
You
oh my
did.
god,
You got
that
cooked,
was-
but you know,
Learning experience, though. Learning experience. Yeah.
Learning experience, and y'all got Clay. Y'all gonna
Yeah.
y'all.
It'll be better.
It's gonna be really fun to see the Wolves, the Mavs, the Thunder, and you know, maybe a few. Memphis. Memphis will be back strong for sure. So, I think that those 4 teams are going to be pretty potent going in.
It's like the West is kind of back to being a strong force again a little bit.
Yeah, and then also San Antonio, because I mean that long linky
Wemby?
bastard that's out there, Wemby, is a problem. So,
And he just lost too. So and he said that it's okay. Like, yeah, I got something for y'all when the
Chris
season
Paul's
rolls back
gonna be
around.
over there.
Chris
Yeah,
Paul
so
over there
that's gonna
too.
be- so there's gonna be a lot of he's gonna be that's gonna be a difference maker. Yeah, so it's gonna be really.
But it was crazy though in that draft. Like, you had Wembanyama out there, but like somehow the Mavs got Derek Lively like in this late in the draft.
That's how it happens, man. That's the beauty of the draft.
Well,
bro.
it helped because the Thunder got Carson, because that pick was between the Thunder and the Mavs, where they got Lively, which we were kind of like, man, we need a big, but Carson was so good for us. And then when it got to the playoffs time, we just kind of showed how much we lacked a big to kind of keep into that fold. But I'm just glad that the fight that we had, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a fun series.
It was a really fun series.
But yeah, I guess if you guys want to hear me talk about random shit like this, come check out
I love it.
Speculation on YouTube. We got multiple shows. FSP Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Thursdays is PM in the PM with my buddy Pong Soul and I, even though he's been really mean to me lately. And then Friday night, Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Random, sometimes I'll have some game streams and some solo streams and all this other kind of stuff. To find out when we go live, follow on X at Fun Speculation.
Awesome. Shout out to you, man. You guys know what to do. Go follow Mav, man. Mav's here. You guys, part of the family here. So go follow him. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody at FSP. I'll see some fam in the chat. Saw 3-Bit in there earlier, Psycho in there. So Caitlin was in there early. So shout out to all of you. Mav, you know you're always welcome here, brother. That goes without saying. So I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Now that you're
back on the panel. Yeah, facts. Now that I'm back. But look, I came back at the perfect time. We was all gone. So shit, I wasn't really gone.
I was starting to get depressed on Saturday night.
Yeah,
I was like, what
hey, listen, man. Anyway, we'll be talking about that off air. But no, for facts. But shout out to you for coming through anyway, Mav. Fucking awesome, bro. We always love having you here, man. But by the way, you're only fueling Pong when you say things like that. You see that laugh? That was a sinister, maniacal laugh. You only giving him fuel.
Hey, dude's
see, he's
possible,
like,
man.
he feeds off of that stuff, man. Hey, go ahead, Pong. Yeah,
no, of course I do. No. That's fine. Again, it's all love.
Facts.
We've been praying and holding candlelight vigils for him, and it's great that Sniffles made it through like this horrible sickness that almost took him off the face of the planet and away from us. So I'm just happy. Caitlin's crying tears of joy still to this point that she did not lose him. So I'm just, again, every night that I can spend with him podcasting is just a little bit more sweet right now. So thank you, Sniffles, for being here. Appreciate you so much.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime.
But it's amazing to hear K Mega's voice as well. Again, brother, great Great to be finally on a show with you after years of not being on a show with you, man. Yes, man, love the discussions, love the perspective. Obviously, one of the OGs, man, and you bring it all the time, wherever you're at. So, man, it was great to have you here. And again, thank you for giving us your time tonight, man, and being here for the return of the Shop Podcast. And of course, PTK, Blam, and Fuzzy brothers.
Yes, sir.
Man, Saturday night's back to normal, man. I feel like myself again. This is great. This is great. I've been lost. I've been like a little lost puppy out here on Saturday nights, not knowing what to do with myself except for playing games, right? So, great to be back in the chair, talking with you guys, and it was a great show. And chat, amazing to see the familiar faces come back even after time off. It's not easy to take time off in the podcasting world. You gotta be consistent. But you all, the community that we build here and elsewhere, a lot of you come to all of our other shows too. Nothing but love and respect for all of you that give us the most valued commodity that you have, which is your time as well. And I tell you that each and every week because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys, and it's so awesome to see you all come back here and join in tonight. So you guys know how to find me, Pong Soul on X, formerly known as Twitter, Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Steam, Pong Soul on GOG, Pong Soul on Epic. Find me, I will find you back. Otherwise, next week, you know when the deal is, Boomstick is the man. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel 5 days a week. I'm not on his shows, but I got to give a guy who has helped so many in the community continued support. I love the dude. He does it 5 days a week, but Xbox Factor Podcast Tuesdays, always a special place for me. One of my first panels. I love that. Go check them out. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time every Tuesday. My week starts, of course, with Sniffles on the Fun Speculation Network on Thursday nights, PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, 2-man show, but we get the chat involved. We go 3+ hours, get ready, we catch up, and next week, Gamescom is going to be massive for all the shows. We're going to have so much fun talking what we've been seeing, new game footage, new games that probably we haven't seen before, old games that all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, that's even looking even better. Holy cow. Again, we're getting more Space Marines 2 this coming week. I can't wait because that's my most anticipated game, I think, running the rest of the year out at this point. But it's going to be fun next week. So join me and Mav on Thursday. And then, of course, back at it Friday for the Xbox Ultimate where the family gets together. Hell, we had Caitlin show up last night. She hasn't been on in months. And all of a sudden, Caitlin decided to join us. It was freaking awesome.
Shout out to
Fuzz
Kate. That's
and Mav,
awesome.
and all of a sudden, Caitlin's little voice comes in and was like, what? Caitlin's here. Sweet. You never know who's going to be there on Friday nights, but we always have a good time and have lots of good talks. 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Xbox Ultimate also on the Fun Speculation Network. And then, of course, Saturday mornings, you guys know the drill. Living Split Screen. Split Screen's all one word. Myself, my brother from another Steel Rain. We take you from the morning to the afternoon. We'll take you from the afternoon to the evening, depending on where you are in the world. That's right. 4+ hours. Buckle up. Every Saturday, we start at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, live, raw, and uncut, where me and Steel get down to business. Tons of talk today. We even got into topics that no other shows in the gaming podcasting sphere are getting into. I'll tell you that much this morning. We went, woo! We're trying to cure world problems out here on Living Split Screen. Let me tell you, I had no idea we were going to do it, but the chat gets involved, like I said, and all of a sudden we are off and running. So check us out. You get the games talk. You get a lot of games talk. Steel and I, for the first hour and a half, that's all we do is talk games we've been playing for the most part. Almost every single week, we break down the games we've been playing. We talk about the stuff coming up. Join us there every Saturday. Otherwise, everybody, it's the golden age of gaming. It truly is. I know there's a lot of people trying to tell you it sucks out here. Gaming is terrible. Nothing's the same anymore. Hey, I got that old guy attitude in me a lot of the times, but let me tell you, as a gamer, there's been no better time to be a gamer than right now. So please get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you soon. PTK.
You made me feel old as hell because when you said talking 4+ hours, I just feel like it's good that I'm retiring from the
stepping away at the perfect time, huh? Jesus Christ. Crazy.
We just have too much fun. I mean, again, we're not supposed to do that. You know, Mega, you're not supposed to do that. That's not how you're supposed to run it.
But it
especially
works.
With a 2-man show.
But it works for you guys, though.
We just do it.
It works.
We just do it. It's natural.
I used to do it with B Shadows, man. Shout out to B Shadows wherever he may be. And I remember when we first did it, and
Yeah.
and this was with my wife right now. We were just dating, and she was like, "Was you on a podcast for almost 6 hours?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, man, we was just talking,
Having a good time, man.
Exactly.
I didn't know how much time it was." So yeah, no, it can slip from you. It can slip from you. But man, Lord have mercy, that gave me the chills. Hell, I'm gonna go give me some more Hennessy on that.
Facts. But shout out to you for coming through, Mr. Pong. So man, the Duracell Battery of the Shop podcast. I miss that energy, bro. I mean, I need that. So I appreciate you coming through every single week. Always being the same, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Love, brother. Much love. And last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Bear, Mr. Fuzzy Bear over there to smooth things out, man. The nice velvet coat. You was talking about Hennessy. Fuzz got that 60-year-old cognac over there.
But man,
Yeah, you know, Fuzz only the finest for Fuzz with the cashmere smoking jacket. So
I can see it with Fuzz. I can see it.
Nah, but shout out to Fuzz, man. Let everybody know they can find you, brother.
This was just awesome. It was like a family reunion. Good to get back together with you guys. Always an awesome time being on a podcast with K Mega. Love being on the podcast throughout the week with Mav. So having both of you guys on here was awesome. And the return with PTK and Pong. Yeah, this was right. This was perfect, man. Been looking forward to this for some time now. So yeah, it was good to get back together. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, joining us. Those that caught us live or those that catch us on the replay, we greatly appreciate you guys taking the time, check us out and everything. So appreciate it. But for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. I'm on a ton of podcasts these days and on the road a lot these days. So Twitter is going to probably be the best place to find out where I'm at. Like tomorrow, might make an appearance on Web Dave's podcast for a little bit before being on Pixelated Echoes at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Then Monday is Xbox Lunch Break Special, 12 noon on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL. And then later that evening, FSP with Mav on Fun Speculation channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Friday, same deal, Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL. And then later that evening, Xbox Ultimate on Fun Speculations channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then right back here next Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the shop. Look forward to seeing everybody there. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, Fuzz, man. Always coming through. Let me get to this. My bad, Brett. I missed your super chat, brother. I did not mean to do that. Let me get to it. Had a $5 super chat from Brett Bingham. He said, feeling Xbox sending games to PS like the T100. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Facts. Facts. We just talk about that, bro. Great goddamn analogy. But last but not least, your boy, your host here, PTK Blam. Once again, I appreciate you guys so much. Every time I take a little break, little hiatus, we come back and you guys are still here. It surprises me even after like 7-8 years. So you guys are fucking awesome. We will be back. The show is back in its normal cadence. So next week, same place, same time. Probably a new guest or two, so look out for that as well. But I'm super easy to find. DMs are always open on Twitter, PTK Blam across the board on Xbox as well too. So once again, you guys enjoy your weekend. Like Pong said, it's a golden age of gaming. Go try something. Go play something. There's plenty out there. Don't get caught up in the discourse because it's not real. Indeed. Go play some games, all right? But outside of that, you guys enjoy their Saturday night. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Hasta la vista.